Sucks.
After we both see it, I'll see if it's the same thing that I got spoiled.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
was
Oh,
it
you
was
said
literally
two.
just
I'm guessing one of them is probably the same
it
as
was
mine.
discussing films on Twitter. Just
Hmm.
basically, I mean, I guess they figured 2 weekends is enough time, but and like I said, I'm mad at myself. I'm not mad at them. Like I should have went and seen it already.
I'm mad at them because they didn't say
That
shit
one,
about
yeah.
it. It's a major spoiler, bro.
And
Like,
you got to know not to watch if you even
yeah,
care.
it had nothing to do with that. It had
Critical
nothing to
Drinker
do.
can't do a review without giving the summary, which he's done, and I usually don't. I've never watched any of his reviews for movies I haven't seen or want. And he starts laying down like the gets into the weeds of the plot, and I'm like, turn that
Like,
off. Like,
bro,
what the fuck, dude? I don't want to know the plot. I don't want to know how they end up, how he ends up
hey,
getting
you're supposed to give me
Wolverine
a
and why.
general review.
Yeah, just like some
That's
very
it.
basic. Obviously,
Yeah.
Wolverine's in it, and that, how they get together, the
Grace
story.
Grace did a great review.
Did she?
She danced around it. She said, "I do not want to even come close to even come close. I don't want to come close to coming close to spoiling anything in this movie. So this is going to be a bare bones review, just letting you guys know." And she was just like, "It was a great review." She gave her opinion, and she was out of there. I'm like, "Thank you very much. I appreciate it."
What's up, Ayers? What's up, Lenny? We were just talking about Deadpool because neither one of us went and seen it yet, and already saw a couple spoilers. So nothing in the chat. God damn it!
Yeah, no spoilers,
Be
please.
blocked for
Already
life.
got
And that,
enough.
I mean, the thing I saw is like I heard it's not a huge part of the movie, but it definitely would have been awesome to not
Yeah.
because I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure what I saw was not a huge part, but it was a sweet little reveal cameo, and I'm like, oh, you fuckers!
Like,
Like, how dare you ruin that?
but
The
yeah,
video, and again, the title of this video had nothing to do with Deadpool and the
no,
Wolverine. It had nothing to do with that. I'm like, what? It was
I know.
just, he just flippantly threw it out there because blah blah blah. I'm like, what? Had nothing to do with it.
Retro death. I mean, yeah, there's a couple times I've said stuff and one he thought was a spoiler. I was like, no, we are just making shit up. That never actually happened. The other time it was like it was from Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm not gonna say it retro. You don't have to turn it off. I know you already been spoiled though. It's like the first 2 hours of the game of this 100-hour game. I thought it was so known. Like I knew it before I played the game. Like, and I wasn't even
Yeah.
following Xenoblade like that. Like the first game, it's like, oh, something happens to this character in the very beginning of the game. I'm like, dude, you started that game like a month. Oh, I'm like 10 hours in. You didn't get to that cutscene that's like an hour into the game. It's like I'm sorry, but and plus it's not even that big a deal. Like it's such a. I mean, yeah, it sets up the story, but it's not like you spoiled the end. Like I spoiled the end of a epic thing. You're 100 hours in and spoiled the ending or something. It's like it's literally the beginning. Like it's like, yeah, you wanted to experience yourself. I get it, but it wasn't. I was just surprised he hadn't got to that. I assumed he had gotten to that point, so it was on me. But at the same time, I was like, I don't feel too bad about it. Like, in the grand scheme of the story, trust me, it's not that. It's a smaller, I guess, moment in the entire game. So, but either way, it sucks when stuff like that happens. Like for movies I don't care about, like it's not gonna affect me. But even still, I'm not like I give Trail shit about this all the time. He like just knew the entire story of Last of Us 2, all the major spoilers, and had opinions on it, like as if he like played the game and got mad about it. I'm like, dude, you're just listening to other people tell you about it, and you didn't even play the first game, so it's like. But I would never do that. Like I'm not interested in like Alan Wake 2. I'm not
I think
interested
it's
in it.
because I think he was never going to play the game. I don't has he played it?
No, but I'm like, I don't know why you're invested in it then. Like, why do you have such strong
Yeah.
opinions on it? Like, I wouldn't go look up spoilers if a leak happened for like, I don't kind of trying to think of a game that would be like story focused that I don't really care about. I'm not gonna go look at spoilers for something, even if it's something I'm not that interested. I just find it weird to seek out spoilers. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Um, but like it's not like I was gonna get spoiled for the Twilight film saga or anything. Like you could have told me the whole movie. I'm not gonna give a shit. Like if I want to believe people because I was watching a Cosmonaut Variety Hour or whatever. He was watching those movies with one of his female friends, and it was hilarious. They were ripping on the movies. I couldn't believe it was real. Like the last movie, like
The
the
wolf guy falls in love with
falls
his
in
ex girlfriend
with the
baby.
baby, and it's like, this is
How is this
real.
real?
Like this can't be. How did this get approval? How did they decide to like put
Well,
this
it's in
in?
the book, I'm guessing, but
Probably.
geez,
Like this
I
is
mean, the
so
book is
weird.
terrible.
That is so
What's
weird.
weird is how it caught on. That's the weirdest thing. Why did this terrible book catch on? I don't know. Now, I'm a huge vampire
Maybe
guy,
I don't know
and
if the
this,
book is more sleazy romance stuff, because I know like my mom, and well, she's older now, but she was always into like the sleazy novels and stuff. Like, and she's not the only one I know that was like that. It's
well,
just
the worst part is that somebody else wrote an even worse book
yeah,
or set of books based on the terrible Twilight
yeah.
book. They turned their fan fiction into what was that shit called?
50 Shades. I've never seen a
50
second
Shades.
other than the
God,
trailers.
straight
I'll never
trash.
watch it. I don't care. Unless it would be like if me and you and somebody were sitting on a couch doing a Mystery Science Theater 3000 type thing, then I'd watch it because we'd rip the
And
shit out of it.
and I'm a proud feminist, but this is one time where I was like fun to make fun of women over. Like I can't walk with y'all on that one. That's just, why do y'all like this garbage? It's trash.
At least the Hunger Games, which was very popular amongst female audience, I think those are pretty good movies. Like they're not
Hmm.
great, but they're decent. The second,
Yeah, they're
uh,
solid.
the first movie has some major flaws. I don't know if it's in the books or if it's just the when it got put to the big film. Like when the dude somehow does a
The whole
prosthetic makeup and blends himself into a rock while he's wounded and about dying. Like, I'm sorry, I watched Face Off, the prosthetic show on Sci-Fi for 8 seasons. I know how impossible that would be.
oh yeah,
It just
that's
made no
pretty
sense.
impossible.
It just was dumb. But
Yeah,
anyway,
but that whole YA craze happened. I mean, it's pretty much
hmm
happened after Harry Potter. Everybody just went
yeah, they
crazy
had
YA.
the what was the other
Maze Runner,
Maze
Maze Runner,
Runners, the Divergent.
Divergence,
And they had to
fucking
like they didn't even want to make the last movie or two
yeah. They just
movies, but
well, they
somebody.
didn't. They wanted to. They just couldn't
Oh
afford to
yeah,
because the
I
first ones
mean
didn't do well.
they were hoping they'd be it, but they didn't
Right.
do so well. I think somebody else eventually picked it up and made the last one. But how would it? How sucky would it be to be one of those actors or all like the main
No, that
cast
sucks.
and think
Well,
you
same thing
landed like
happened to
Chronicles of Narnia had
Olympian
oh
Narnia
yeah
and what's his
Percy
name?
Jackson.
Percy Jackson, right? So nothing really worked beyond Hunger Games and Harry Potter, as far as
Yeah,
like caught on. Although the first Narnia movie did pretty well, and
it
but
was
they just fell off
decent.
a cliff.
I don't know about the books, but it was so jarring that the next one jumped so to like a completely different like time and era. Like it was weird, but yeah, it's just like audiences didn't come back, and then I think Disney sold it to Fox or something for the third movie, and
Mm.
then that even less people went and seen it. So it's just crazy. But anyway, we got off on a movie tangent.
Yeah, well, we're trying to stall so somebody else will jump in here.
Robert was supposed to
Is he taking a nap around
be a
this back?
regular again, so
Mm-hmm.
so I guess I'll talk a little bit about Elden Ring. I've been picking away at the
All right.
DLC. I played it a little bit while you were here. You and Sandstorm, I think, watched me play a
Yeah.
little bit. And I got like a couple more hours in, and it's like I'm just so it's so like as soon as you guys left, the next few days were nice and cool. It was nice and like low
Of
70s.
course,
It was like low 70s,
it wasn't
and
that bad one there, but
no, but then this past week or so, it's been mid to high 80s and super humid. And my living room is like it has one, you know, ductwork register, I guess, on the floor, and with me in there with the TV and the PS5 on, just pumping out heat. The OLED gets pretty hot. The PS5 gets really hot. My thermostat's in that room, and I'm like, I bump it up to 77, and it can't cool. It can't get it cool enough. So I go to the rest of the house, and it's like freezing in the rest of my house. So I'm like,
shit.
God damn it! It's like I gotta try to avoid this like during this heat. Try to avoid just sitting in there playing. So I've been
Yeah.
kind of like not doing any gaming, and then but I did play a little Astro Playroom. There's a new They have these.
Astro.
They've added these free updates of these characters, but they're freaking impossible to find. Like I spent 30, 40 minutes in the that beach one level you played, where eventually go through like the sand blowing at you or the wind blowing
Yeah.
at you, and you go to the next level. Apparently, there's a like figure to unlock, and I'm like I'm looking. I tried everything. There's these like just nonchalant green stars on the ground, and if you don't walk over the first one accidentally and hear the chime, you'd never know that you have to like walk on them in a certain order. There's no somebody figured it out. I don't
Oh,
know
that's some
how.
bullshit.
I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna waste another 30 minutes trying to find this. So I look it up. Okay, I got it. So I said, oh, you got to step on the green star. So I find the first one, and it took me about 20 minutes to figure out the pattern. And I finally, and then it like pops up with this symbol, like a shape with an arrow, and I'm like, well, let me go to this side, and I went to the side. I see like a blue plastic bucket, and I was like, oh, that might be it. And I hit it, and I turn around. Well, there's a steering wheel there in the sand, so I had to look that up. What? Oh, I was right there. I didn't see the steering wheel, so I go back to the steering wheel, and I 5 minutes. I'm pressing every button, nothing happens. You got to press the start button, and you hear cars racing, and then you do the level select in that pattern on the little thing. I figured that out on my own, but and then it's like I would have never figured, like literally I
Yeah,
would have
like
never
there's
figured.
no indicator for it's got to be something you got to stumble on, and then when you're doing it, there should be some kind of indication
First
of what.
you'd have to know, you know, that there's something on that level. I knew it tells you, hey, there's a new thing on a new
Okay.
bot on this level. But like I said, I would have had to just accidentally went over this one star under a freaking what do you call it, pier in the water, and as soon as you walk over it, you hear a ching, just a little chime, and I might have did it and I just didn't know. But if you didn't walk over that one first, if you never walked over that one, you'd never know. So that was the first indicator. Then you have to go to the second one, and if you go to the wrong one, it doesn't make a sound. Then you go back. You got to go back to the first one and get the sound, get the chime, and then go to the second one, get the chime, go to the third one, get a chime, and find the fourth one. And that took me like 20 minutes to figure out the pattern. And
Yeah.
then that popped up the little hint where you had to go over the steering wheel and then know to hit start. Like I would never hit start there. Like I'm hitting every other button but the start button. So it was a little like I didn't.
Convoluted.
Yeah, it's stupid, and I'm like I'm gonna get the trophy. I don't mind looking that up. Like it doesn't. It's not like, oh my god, I feel bad about looking up. But I wish it was something that you could actually figure out. Like it was
Right.
something. Obviously, somebody figured it out, but like somebody a little more that's doing a thorough search of the level should have been able to figure it out. But that's not the direction they took. So, um, yeah, that was a little disappointing. I was like, I'm not gonna look it up and figure this out, and then just basically wasting time on a level. So, but they're doing this and to leading up to the new game. Next month there's gonna be another one, and then they added like the PlayStation VR 2, which I didn't know. There's like a little lottery thing you pull, and then you get like that's where you get the 3D models in like that one room where it has like the PS5 and the Vita and the PSP. And so I got the PSVR 2, the controllers, the Portal, and some. I think it's their controller for like accessibility controller that they came out with, and so I was like, I just got those, and it's like,
Did they drop the price? I heard they were going to drop the price on the VR2. Did they do that yet?
I haven't heard. I didn't see anything about that.
See, that's not even appealing enough for me because it's like, that was not the problem. The price. Oh well, the price is technically is a problem, but if you got a bunch of games that are like really cool and stuff, that's fine. But there's not enough
Yeah,
games
six
like to
hundred
even.
dollars for the bundle with the two controllers and the Call of the Mountain game. It's like, geez, or it's
Yeah.
550 with just the controllers. Like, that's way too
Oh, they
expensive,
must not
man.
have dropped it yet. I mean, that's more than the console.
And like you said, like the best looking game they keep showing at the state of plays and stuff is like where you can pick up like skeleton bones and throw a bunch of shit. Like that's the kind of
Yeah.
stuff that could be cool.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there you can do traditional games. Like I love Star Wars Squadrons. I think it's freaking amazing in VR. And although it is a VR game, well, Squadrons isn't. You can play that outside of VR,
Yeah.
but to me, it's not as good. But Moss, Moss is a VR game, but it's a traditional video game. You can like, I can see where they could, they could just make it a regular video game. It wouldn't be, again, it wouldn't be as cool without the VR stuff, but it is a VR game and it's a traditional game. So they needed more stuff like that, not the so-called quote unquote gimmicky stuff, but more like stuff with meat on it. And
Where's
then it's
Half-Life
just,
Alyx? Why is that still only
yeah,
on
why is Half-Life Alyx on here? Like,
PC?
that's the game. That's the game you need. You need something like that. Uh, that should have been there at launch. Why didn't you make a deal?
But it's
I
just,
don't
I
know.
mean, VR. They tried. You know, well,
And PSVR 1 did pretty decent. I think what it sold like 5 million. That's a nice little chunk. But then you cut all those people off. Oh, you can't bring your stuff
yeah.
over. Yeah, it's got to start all over again. So
Apparently,
I
Donnie
feel like,
says the price drop was last week, which I don't know.
oh, they did drop it. Okay,
Might
I
have been
thought
a
they dropped
sale.
it. I thought I heard.
Might have just been a
No, I,
sale.
I heard they were permanently dropping it
Oh,
because they're trying to move
well,
units.
Donnie, he's not always 100% accurate with his info, so
I don't think I thought it was temporarily, but maybe it is permanently. I don't know.
I heard
I thought
permanent.
I thought there was a like a what's it called?
GameStop has
like a discount or something.
$3.99.
But
Well,
then
that's
if
pretty.
I look on Walmart,
pretty
it's
significant.
$5.49. That's a big
Right,
difference.
that's the regular
Refurbished.
price.
It's refurbished.
That's weird.
Oh,
I don't
so
trust
that's.
GameStop's refurbished after I watched a couple videos
Mm.
of people
But
checking it.
I think I would probably trust a VR 2 because that's fairly new
Yeah.
product. But yeah, older stuff
You
I
kind of
wouldn't.
find it nasty. Well, I guess not necessarily that, but I'm not buying into someone else's VR. you know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, my sister
That's what
was.
you got alcohol
I
swabs
think about
for,
like,
man.
look, I think about my HTC Vive and how sweaty I got.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to get other people's sweat. Like,
What were the ones when you bought that? What were the big ones out at the time? The
oh, when I
VR.
bought it was the Vive. That was like the
Vive.
big
There
one.
was
The
two.
That's
HTC
There
the-
was
Vive is the biggest one.
There was a couple. At least one other.
Oh, it
Made.
was the Oculus Rift. Yeah, the Oculus Rift, and then the HTC Vive, and that was kind of it. Those were the two big ones
Oh
at
yeah,
that
because
time.
it was Oculus before they went with their own little.
They changed
Before,
the
yeah,
Meta
it
Quest.
was
Yeah.
it was literally
Which connects
Oculus
to what,
Rift,
your
yeah.
phone? Some.
With Oculus Rift? No, that was the PC one.
No, I
that was
mean
PC,
the
bro.
Meta, the new ones, the cheap
No,
ones.
that's its
No,
own. It's its
that's
own.
a
It's not. It's
standalone
literally its own
device.
Really?
system. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't need a console. You don't need a computer. None of that.
It's
I
literally
thought
like
they
it's.
had a.
it's
I
it.
thought I knew they had ones like that, but I thought there was one that still like ran off something else.
Yeah, I bought one for my
Not like a phone
son,
you put
right?
in, but it actually
I
could
bought it for my
stream
son.
from your phone.
Well, you gotta take it
Oh, yeah,
from
they
your
got
son.
stuff
You
like
could
that,
play.
but
You could play
yeah.
Asgard's Wrath 2, which apparently really is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You
you're
know, so
basically just putting your phone as the lens, and then
yeah,
you,
I mean
you have
that's
that's
it's a
garbage.
Yeah, but I thought there was one where it had proper screens and stuff, but it's somehow still connected to like a phone or something to do the processing. But maybe I
not that I know of.
I was watching a review of one. Maybe I don't remember what it was, but I might have misheard what he said.
The Quest is great though.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about the Quest stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Do
like I
those
said,
have
it's
any
standalone.
controllers?
Yeah, it has
Yeah.
it was similar controllers to the PS VR.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, man. They keep trying, and it got. Remember how hyped up they were? The Oculus is one of those. I want to say that was back when I was watching Adam Sessler and stuff, and people were trying to hype. And
Yeah.
I guess and obviously it was impressive tech.
Well, they got
but-
it right eventually because the Quest
Well,
is
that's the
dope.
thing is that I honestly think VR is one of the best gaming experiences you could ever have in your life, and you won't know until you do it. And,
Yeah, like,
and it really is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dude, like some of my most fondest memories is playing super hot VR with the HTC Vive. It is unreal. Like same thing with Gord, and it's a lot of titles that
Yeah.
no one's gonna know or heard of, and that's fine. I get it, but it's like unfortunately it's an expensive price tag, and you need a lot of space to do some of the coolest shit that for me like the room
Yeah,
VR stuff. You
You're all
know,
hooked
and,
with the
and I-
wires.
and like even right now, I could technically do VR, but it'd be like the sitting down VR. I like the whole moving around in the room. Like that's like
Mm-hmm.
it blows your mind. Like I remember one of the coolest and weirdest things I played this horror game that if it was not VR, it'd be the most simplest whatever. But the fact that I was able to turn the corner, walk a little bit, and physically turn around and look behind the wall.
That shit was
It was
cool.
so unbelievably immersive that it was like, whoa,
They gotta
this is
get that
creeping me the
with
fuck
I was
out.
gonna
AR.
say that's what I love about Squadrons. You know, like I'm in the you're in the cockpit. It's hard to it's hard to explain this
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you don't have it on yourself. But I'm in the cockpit. I'm looking around, I'm looking down. I can see all the different
Uh-huh.
controls and shit. Literally looking all around like this, and
Yep.
I'm in it. I'm in
I
the
heard
goddamn
the
cockpit.
Gran
And the shit is cool.
Turismo, whatever the newest one, 7
Oh,
had
I'm
really
sure
cool
that's
VR.
nuts. I'm sure
Oh,
that's nuts.
I'm sure it's great.
Yeah,
And then
sure it's
looking
great.
at Squadrons
this
right
is the
now.
game. This game right here is the one that put it over for me.
What is
Like
it?
it's called Farpoint. PS VR. I think it's exclusive to the PSVR one. May not be, but it might be. And you're basically you're stranded on this strange planet and shit, and you're just trying to get to a beacon to get to your ship so you can get out of there. And bitch, I feel like I'm on the goddamn planet. I feel like I am there.
So cool.
There's these big creatures that just jump out of nowhere, and it's just it's visceral. And then like the thing about VR is that because you think you're actually seeing this stuff, your mind will trick you. Like
Uh-huh.
I feel breezes and shit that aren't there. Like when the wind blows and shit, I'm like, oh, shit. It feels like, but it's tricking you so well that it just, man, it's great. It's hard to
And when
explain VR.
I don't know. I mean, I know. I'm sure you feel when you sometimes when you're really when you take it off, you're like, oh shit! Like
Oh
it's like
yeah,
you
yeah.
have to,
It's
you have
you got to
to
readjust yourself to
yeah.
the real world, basically.
And that's why
It is that good.
a lot of people do like the phone VR and think, yeah, it's not, like
Yeah, the
minimum,
Right.
phone
but
VR don't feel
it's
like
not
you're.
what
It don't feel like you're in an environment.
No.
It just feels like you're looking at something in a like 3-dimensional kind of
Right.
way.
Well, yeah,
You need to have
because
the
again,
headset
the
on,
phone
and then your
can't do anything. The
ears
phone's not doing
and
anything.
your
It's
eyes
not what it is.
completely blocked. You
Yeah.
got your earpieces
Because
are in. You hear
Yeah.
every little sound and shit,
Mhm.
little wind blowing and just shit in the
That's all-
And again,
background.
imagine especially like there's a lot of like for the cockpit ones, especially you could kind of do the whole sitting down and do that stuff. But I've always enjoyed like my room VR. Where, again, the idea of imagine your brain anytime you physically move is you're moving in the game and you're moving like it blows your like your it
Hmm.
really attaches your brain to the game and it is the coolest shit ever.
Or like in
And
the game
it's so
Moss, it
awesome.
feels like you're in a fucking diorama. You're playing a video game that's a diorama, and
Mhm.
like I take my head and I kneel in, like there's like water and shit, and I can fucking come all the way up to the water. I'm like, this shit is
Yeah, yeah.
crazy. I can
Uh-huh.
see clearer as I move closer to the water, and little bugs and shit are like that's it's dope, bro. It is dope.
So cool. That's why like realistically like again, I think VR is phenomenal, and I think it has gotten caught up to the amazing tech
Mhm.
and everything. It's just unfortunately to use VR, it's tough for
Big
99% of
Yeah,
ass.
people.
I was gonna say, yeah, the biggest barrier is like
Even now,
fucking.
as someone who
Some people
has it,
get
I can't. Not to say,
disoriented and shit. Like, just you get disoriented, and just having a big device on your head, on your face.
yeah,
Some people just don't like it. It's claustrophobic to them. So I get
yeah,
so that's the barrier. But if you can
yeah.
get past
And,
that,
but
man,
unfortunately, it's legitimately a life changing barrier for a lot of people.
Mhm.
I know
I
like
think
some
it
people
is.
don't have the space and stuff. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, like legitimately,
Yeah,
it's just not.
I
It's
said
just
once
gonna be so tough to crack 99% of people.
when I first got it, it was like a Mario 64 experience. Like, holy shit, this is
Yeah.
different.
Well, I
There
guess
was
I
that
never
kind of
participated.
experience.
I'm watching some
Absolutely.
Half-Life Alyx like puzzle.
I look. That's.
solved.
Do you know how disappointed I am that I can't play Half-Life Alyx? Like it is.
Bro.
It crushes me to no end because
Do you
like
need a
that
better
is
hardware?
one that I know would be like on my top 10 of 2020
Yeah, I
when that
want to play
happened.
that bitch so bad too.
I just watched them solve this like
One
puzzle
day I
that was
will,
cool.
and I know I'm going to absolutely adore it because it's like, dude, Valve's own game for VR. It's gonna be unbelievable.
Yeah, but it's fucking headset. It's goddamn too expensive.
Yeah, you have to use their headset.
No, but I would want to because I know that shit was built for it.
It was
You
built
know?
for it. Yeah.
I mean, this
Oh
just
man.
So that's when you get the secondhand refurbished and you alcohol swab the shit out of it.
So
Well, at some point, these headsets, like if you want certain ones, they're gonna stop making some of them eventually. At some point, where
Yeah.
you're gonna have to.
So
But like,
does
I
it
just
feel weird to have to press up on an analog stick to move forward? Does that conflict with
for
the
some
rest?
people it does.
Yeah,
For some people they call it that. Well, that's why they
that's
have
when,
different like locomotion they call it.
Yeah.
yeah,
And like how
that's
you
when
can
people
like
get sick.
to
Yeah,
remove it. Yeah, yeah.
that's what throws a lot of people off.
Yeah, well, that's why I mean, I've always, my biggest VR thing is one that I always my room scale. I always like the room scale one, and then a
Mhm.
lot of ones you could kind of maybe teleport. You could like have it like that. Even the ones like there's the thing called Rec Room, which I'm sure T you've heard of Rec Room at least.
Yeah,
But it's like this multiplayer VR thing, and when it's legitimately like it's a multiplayer lobby, and people are taller than you, they're shorter than you because in real life that's how they look,
Hmm.
and it's
right.
so bizarre. And like you could bend down, you could go up, and it's just like you're interacting with someone who's there but not actually there in front of you. It's the weirdest
Yeah.
shit. It's the coolest shit. And like literally it has their own mini games, and I'm able to play basketball. I'm literally grabbing a basketball and shooting it.
That's Ready
And it's
Player
like
One shit.
that's it's over there. Look at this. We're in a big gymnasium. You know what I mean? Like this is
Yeah,
a big
yeah.
gymnasium. Look at that. It's so cool. It's unbelievable.
That's
Yeah.
what I
It's,
always wanted from VR is that kind of stuff.
yeah, and it's great. I mean, and they've and I'm talking about from. I mean, to be fair, that was already 5 years ago for me.
But yeah,
So like
that,
imagine all the cool shit that I've been seeing for the past 5 years. And I'm like, damn, I want to do that. I want to do that. It looks awesome. And
yeah.
like there's a lot of crazy games that have come out. I'm gonna I want to play so many of them. And, T's always talking about the Astro Bot. Of course, I want to play that in VR. I know
Oh man,
Astro
the
Bot was
game is
finished.
so good. I mean, just imagine that you played it, right? So you know it's good, but that bitch in VR is just it's even better, bro. It's like
Yeah, and it's like
it's built
I
for
just
the VR environment. So you're looking around and shit. Oh,
yeah,
you're
and
like,
that's
oh,
exactly that's
there's
a
a spot
sitting
over there
down
I
one.
didn't even
That's
see.
one where you sit down, right?
But
So
you're
you're
Yeah,
just
still
with
just like still it's still a 3D third person platformer, right?
no,
I've
it's
seen
still a 3D
yeah,
platformer. Yeah,
just for people that don't know, like you can look around, but you're still like controlling. You're still looking like you would at like 3D World or
yeah,
something. Like
right. It's just like being behind your character in 3D world. But the cool thing,
but
like if you just had
it'd
it was
be
just on a
like God
screen,
mode where you can like go like
right?
that, right? You're like,
There's stuff you can't see just looking at the screen and
mm-hmm.
shit that you can
yeah.
see if
Is
you
there
actually look down. Oh, oh,
doesn't
there's
that
a hidden
require
spot over there.
some motion
Is a
and
hidden
stuff?
collectible or something, right?
Yeah,
Something like
yeah,
that. Oh,
yeah,
that's
or
badass.
hidden area and shit
That's
that you
badass.
can't see
So
just looking at a
we
screen.
got a little distracted last week talking about Astro Bot because we got into the whole full game versus not, but they said 80 levels, and Astro's Playroom has technically 16 like separate little individual ones you can teleport to, but to me like the four together kind of feel like one level, but they break it into four on the map, so maybe that's how they're breaking it up in the game. So
I
that
mean, they're all like. I mean, if you break it up by the amount of hours, I mean, like that's how those 8 levels are going to be. Those individually, they're not going
that's
to
what I'm
be like.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Before playing it, I thought it was something like Switch VR or something, like a Labo VR Labo Astrobot was, but that feels like it's a fucking game. That is a full on, you know,
It's
$40, at least
honestly
$40 game.
surprised they didn't try to just port that to the PS4 like 2D, like
Yeah.
to not the non VR to work with non VR because everyone said that was like the best, like a really good
Yeah.
game. But
Yeah, I think it just
I think it
you know.
was initially a VR game. They just
because there's stuff
decided,
with the Move controller and stuff in there, right?
yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm like, I saw. I mean, obviously the trailer. I watched
Like
it again.
all that, I was the thing. I was really comfortable with the game. You let me play it. I was really comfortable with it because I already knew all those little mechanics. A lot of those mechanics are in rescue missions. So
Okay, gotcha.
where you pull back on the touchpad and shit, and like what is it called? Like what's the fucking thing
Like a
called?
rubber
Slingshot?
band thing, like a
Yeah,
slingshot.
slingshot.
Or,
Like slingshotting and all that kind of stuff.
mm-hmm.
All that stuff is in a rescue mission. So I was already comfortable with all that stuff.
I saw somebody either got a preview. Was it Nintendo? Somebody. It wasn't Nintendo Life. Somebody got like a preview of the game, and
Game Explain.
I usually don't watch them, so I don't remember who it
Oh.
was. But they were just talking about some
Good
of the
Vibes, maybe. Maybe it was Good
some of the
Vibes.
creativity of that they saw just in their what they got to see.
Yeah, I said it when I
Even
first
Digital
played
Foundry too.
Rescue Mission. I was like, this feels like somebody else's version of a Nintendo game. That's how polished and just gameplay creative this game is. It feels like a Nintendo game. And if Nintendo put this out, it was like, yeah, that's Nintendo. So
It really sounds like they're a lot of ideas and they're getting real creative. So yeah, there was a few different things in the free game on PS5. Like you have the jumpsuit, like the spring suit. You have the jetpack one using the triggers to basically shoot your rocket. The right controls the right rocket, left trigger, but then you tilt to move. And then there's like a shooting. You got like it wasn't like a gun, but it shooting like ping pong balls or something. And I can't remember if there was any others, if there was more than those three. So it was just like
well, you got the one where did you ever see the one where you like jump?
Yeah.
Oh yes, man.
I think there was only the three base. Maybe there's a fourth one I can't remember, but yeah, it sounds like they're obviously going a lot further with it. So we'll see how it shapes up. But I'm definitely getting that game this year. And
yeah, me too. I'll get it at some point, but probably not this year.
So I might as well, because A.B. James brought up the Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. They released a new
I
trailer.
didn't see the trailer.
You didn't see the trailer? What you been doing all day, man?
Oh, well, I went to work
working.
and I came home and then I watched a movie and then I forgot about that.
Basically, they just showed the what Sandstorm pointed out.
They just showed all the stuff that Robert's not going to do anyway. Yeah. He just goes, he skip past.
No, they show what somebody, I think a Sandstorm pointed out there. They were like hiding like two other icons on the D-pad that didn't show, and it's like you can, I forget what it's called, dude. Like,
well, clearly they were hiding stuff because they didn't even show you when we went into the dark world or whatever.
So you basically get the power to attach an object to you, and it moves exactly with you. So if you go down, it moves down. Then if you release, like this big boulder falls to the ground. If you connect to an enemy and move them over a hole, and then you release, and then he falls. It's almost like Ultra Hand, but it seems like it's however far away you are from this object when you activate it is how far away it is from you, and then it moves with you, and then you can reverse it so that you move with the thing. So if you attach to a moving object, now Zelda moves with that. So a spider climbs up the wall, you move up, and that's how you get up to a high spot. So it's kind of, I forget the mechanic, what it's called, but
I'm watching it right now, live reaction. I'm watching.
And then you got a horse, which looks like you can.
Which Robert isn't going to use.
A horse.
Looks like you can jump over some.
I'm not getting this game.
The one thing I will say, I haven't been like, I'm not acting all hyped for it. The one thing that I see in both the trailers that's like, I'm worried that it's going to be a tedious thing is they use the bed every time, or a trampoline. So every time you got to get up just a little freaking ledge, you got to pull out your thing and have the bed equipped or whatever that lets you get up there. And I'm like, at some point, like late in the game, is that how tedious is that going to be? I still have to pull out these items.
If it's on a quick menu thing, then I won't care.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, it's like this button is always going to be
button, right.
If I got to constantly switch back and forth, that's just a worry I have. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm not saying that's how it's going to be. I'm just knowing how Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild worked with all the items. Tears of the Kingdom, they added your most recent and your most used, which helped. But when you had to like find one to like that you hadn't used in forever, and Tears of the Kingdom, it was a pain in the ass. Like, oh, I want to equip a wing to try to hit this thing far away, and I was like, I never use the wings, and I'm like scrolling like 50 things over before I freaking find it. So I could see that becoming kind of tedious if they're Maybe the horse just eliminates the need for most of that. Once you get the horse, you can just jump up.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess, interested to see how that all plays out, because it sounded like in the original trailer he said he didn't even know how many echoes you could have. Like he lost count at like a high number. So I'm like, yeah, hopefully it's fun and not too tedious to like select things. And if you're like, hopefully you can, if you get up to a high spot, you can like kick a ladder down or do something, so you don't always, every time you have to want to go to this spot, you have to pull out the bed or a trampoline to get up, and like
I see the horse now.
Yeah.
the horse is cute. And
It's like a little toy horse.
And it jumps.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'd ride this horse because it works for the game.
and jumps over a fence, so like I
But
said,
you don't need to ride the horse, is what I'm
that
saying.
might eliminate the need
But if
to.
it's right there and I could just grab it and go and I it's a bigger world.
Well, you have to pull out. According to that,
You
you
gotta
have to pull out a
pull out a
carrot.
carrot, right?
You have to create a
Yeah.
carrot for it to come if it's not by you already.
And would you use it if you
Create
could
a
just
carrot? Or like you
bind
just
bind to a fast creature or something and just use that?
Hopefully you can, like I said, hopefully none of this is going to be like tedious and cumbersome. Like, hey, I want to pull my horse out. That should be like, let me just have that be permanently the down on the D-pad or something. Like,
That's what I tell the ladies all the time. Yeah, I'm gonna pull my horse out.
let me go down.
it's a
and-
5-minute trailer though. I was surprised, and it's
Don't mind
It's
me,
looking
baby.
good,
I'm
man.
pulling my
I
horse
gotta
out.
say that. I'd
visuals
say
look
that
nice.
the,
I mean, there's
the characters that you're talking about. Well, I mean, let's look at like the characters and everything, like the different
Mhm.
worlds. I'm really liking the variety
Mhm.
of environments, and that's looking really cool.
NPCs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And okay, I see this move objects, so the binding. That's badass.
It's brilliant.
It could be fun. Like, I think it's going to lead to some really good puzzles and maybe boss fights.
hmm
Absolutely. Well, you could take a enemy and just throw them off.
It's awesome. That's gonna be what I'm
I
doing
have a
a lot.
feeling there's going to be some abilities or some echoes that you're gonna get. They're gonna make like everything, like a lot of stuff, obsolete. Like that. Obviously, not every enemy is going to be by something you could drop off, but once you get that, it's like, why would you? What would be the
And
reason?
you could fly with it. You can attach to the bird and
You can
fly.
catch the birds and fly. Yeah.
Probably only where the bird's going.
Sure, it's
but-
limited. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's like its movement. Oh, but climb up the spider with the wall. That's dope. Okay, that is very cool. Oh, I mean, come on, like the amount of thinking and thought that is put into this is actually nuts. I mean, you're talking about you could spawn anything, but then you could also attach to anything in the world. The fact that, again, just like Tears of the Kingdom, that's not breaking things is unbelievable. It's actually really impressive.
They clearly
Like,
were on their Tears of the Kingdom mode when they came up with the mechanics
like,
in this game.
This is like I mean, if you really think about breakdown, like what they're actually doing, that shit is actually insane. Like every individual object is spawned, they have to think about how it might affect things. Like, damn, that's a lot. That is a ton.
Robert, you gonna make any smoothies in there? It looks like you have to go to a person.
I didn't see a smoothie.
You have to go to
That's
a
how much I
person
care
and
about the smoothie.
give them ingredients, and they make a smoothie, which I'm not sure exactly what it's gonna do. But
What do you get? Hearts?
I'm not sure if it's for health or something else.
I think it's cool that they're incorporating like the Breath of the Wild era stuff with characters and whatnot, and also the original Zelda. With the Zora, the River Zoras and whatnot. Like that's pretty cool that
I
they're
never
melding
thought
all
about
these things.
that there was two different ones like that. Like I just figured they changed
so
for the game. Like
the smoothie will give like resistance to electricity, fire. So it'll give like so yeah. I'll probably drink some.
But the
So who else is buying a gold?
I ain't even lying, man. I'm tempted. I don't have a Switch Lite yet, and I want to get one for my collection.
Yeah. I only have two. Only got two. So
truthfully, I'll never use it, but I would want a. I like those tiny little.
It's a shelf piece.
They're just
I used it once, and it's like,
they're like
okay.
$200, man. How can you say no?
Yeah.
How can I say no?
And it's gonna double in value within like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
When they stop selling them, so Because
It's
go
just
look,
cool.
go look at 3DSs. Go look at like the gold 3DS, the Triforce 3DS. Those shit's expensive as shit
Really?
now.
I
Yeah.
thought.
Oh yeah.
Only
It's
new
they're
ones or
stupid.
just any of them? Because a few
no
years ago, I remember looking and I was surprised that.
even the regular 3DS, like a
Let me see.
used
I'm
one, is
pretty
like
sure
200
I'm
bucks.
pretty sure they're pretty decently high up there. Like
They're 200
especially
bucks for like a regular used
What about like
3DS.
the Majora's Mask? Was there a Majora's Mask 3DS or was it?
yeah, the
Yeah.
Majora's Mask one.
I thought
Those
there
are
was a
expensive.
Monster Hunter. Like they
Those
keep,
in the 300s. Yeah, mine is a Monster Hunter one. Where is it?
what was that?
Um,
Majora's Mask came out at the same time as I think
So
the
I
Monster
see
Hunter one.
very first thing I see is 549
For what one?
yeah, there you go. There you
for
go.
the Majora's Mask 3DS.
Oh really?
Right.
Damn.
It's purple, right? It's
I guess
Isn't it
T,
purple?
you might have talked me into buying one and just leaving it. Put it under the futon in the basement.
Yeah,
Let's see,
it's
let's
gonna
see.
go up in
Look at-
value
Box only, 180 bucks.
just for the box, motherfucker. Just for the box.
Okay, but this one's pretty good. Oh, but that's I think that's a Japanese one. Is 250. I mean, if you don't mind, hey.
Yeah, the cheapest ones are the Japanese one.
Yeah.
So
And then right after that, you go to 300.
Terrell's not here to do the breakdown of the sales numbers.
Mine's worth 300. Oh yeah, that's usually his thing.
Did they give any updates on games? I only saw like the hardware numbers.
I don't know if they gave.
Oh wait, yeah, I
games.
did see some. I see that
Breath of the
Super,
Wild outsold Tears of the Kingdom.
I see that Super Paper Mario or no, Super Mario Party passed something. Breath of the Wild or Odyssey or something. It passed one of those.
Let's
I think it was
see.
Odyssey.
Nintendo sales.
What was it called? The investor meeting.
The financial report. Don't
Yeah,
use
it's
alcohol
fine.
to clean the gold switch. Oh yeah, that probably will take that right off.
All right, so let's see. So this is, I guess, what they show. I don't know. This only shows best selling. I'm sure maybe the.
The one I
Oh,
saw
here it goes.
like,
Okay,
like the top.
I got
10s.
the unit sales.
The Switch is at
Is only show the top
143.
selling. Let's see, top selling titles.
This was June that's quarter 2.
Well, this shows as of June 30th, 2024. So, I guess number 10 is it number 10? Well, first I'll just say the other one, which is Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, did 1.76 million copies, and Luigi Mansion 2 HD
That's more than
1.1.
it sold on GameCube, son.
Bro, Luigi Mansion 2 already had 1 million copies. It's pretty fast. Wasn't that only like a couple weeks before that?
That game sold enough copies already.
I think
And
It's
then,
one of the
I
highest selling 3DS games.
I think
it
both
was like
those
5
games
million.
will probably end around 2 million, maybe because of how late it is in the life. But you never know.
It's pure profit. As far
Yeah,
as I'm
it's
concerned.
literally pure profit. $60 each.
Especially
Crazy.
for the Luigi's Mansion. That's
Oh yeah.
Remember, I
it's-
know Sword and
it's-
Shield and Scarlet Violet are like right next to each other on the.
Yeah, so they only, for some reason, they only show like the top 10, it looks like, but number 10 with 17.61 million is, can you guess?
New Super Mario Bros. U.
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
despicable. Despicable.
I didn't see
New
that.
Super Mario Brothers 3 Deluxe. Number 9, 20.8 million.
Tears of the Kingdom.
No,
Yes.
Tears of the Kingdom higher than that. No, Tears of the Kingdom. Sorry. Duh.
Yeah, Super
Yeah,
Mario
that's
Mario
Tears of the
Pass
Kingdom, yeah.
is a higher than
You said
Tears of the
Tears. I'm
Kingdom.
thinking breath for some reason.
Number 8 at 20.84 million.
That's Super Paper
What do you
Mario.
think? Super Paper Mario?
Or Super Mario Party, sorry.
I was like, wait, where are we at?
You got a list and shit? Dude? You got how you figuring all this shit out?
I saw,
Yeah, I have it on
I
list now.
saw that.
You know, I'm
it
talking
was-
about juice.
I saw that
Oh, well,
Paper
yeah, you're
Mario
right.
was
Oh,
ahead of
because you're
Tears of the
seeing it
Kingdom.
too, right? You're seeing it right
No,
now,
I
too?
just I saw
Oh.
that. That's the only thing I remembered was that was ahead
Well,
of.
you
Tears
got
of the Kingdom.
10, 9, and 8
I
right.
got
so
I got
you're on a
right
roll.
lucky with 10. I didn't.
Well,
No
you're on a
idea.
roll right now. Number 7 with 25.29 million.
That's probably one of the Pokemons.
What do you think, though?
No,
You
could
gotta-
that be
What is it?
Odyssey?
How much?
25.29.
No, Odyssey's higher than that.
I'll say Sword and Shield.
You're
Hmm.
wrong. It is Scarlet and Violet.
Okay.
Scarlet. That's not
Yeah.
bad though. You knew it was a Pokemon game.
Yeah,
Well, I did see that
that's
those
an
two. I
insane
saw
number,
those
man.
two were like together on the list. So
Well, then how about this then? Number 6 with 26.35 million. What do you think?
Sword and Shield.
You said Sword and Shield. What do you think, Juice?
I thought you were gonna skip the next one. So if you're going to the very next one, then it was Sword and Shield.
It is. Yeah, it is. Sort of. You did say, and you remember, but yeah.
I knew
Number
this.
5 at 28.21 million. What do you think?
Tears.
I'm gonna say Odyssey.
No, we said Tears. Remember, it was at
Oh, that's Tears. Sorry, Breath.
Breath of the Wild. And what do you
Yeah.
what do you think?
I think that's Odyssey.
It is Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey at 28.21. Man, these numbers just keep going higher. Look at that. Number 4, 32.05 million. They
That's
start to
Breath
get
of the Wild.
easier.
Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 3 with 34.66 million. Easy. Number 3. Come on.
Is that Odyssey?
What? You just said Odyssey.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. Number what?
Number 3. The third best selling. What? Oh my God.
1-2 switch.
No. Hold on. Hold on.
Animal. No, that's higher than that.
What is the third best selling?
Come on.
How much? 30, 32?
34.66 million.
Remind me
Oh,
what the
that's-
last one was?
Super
Breath
Bomberman
of
R.
the Wild. Super Bomberman. Breath of the Wild was the last one.
Damn, why can't I think of what the top 3 would be? I know what the top 2 are. What's number 3?
I'm stumped.
Don't tell me
Really?
yet.
Once
Don't
you
tell me.
hear it.
And once
You
I
want
hear
to
it, I'm
Don't
like,
tell
oh,
me
shit.
yet.
No, it's just so
Oh.
obvious.
Oh, duh. I got it.
Oh,
Smash.
yeah.
Yes, there you go.
Yep.
Smash Bros.
I freaking
Ultimate.
forgot all about Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then number 2 with 45.85 million.
That's Animal Crossing.
And number 1 with 62.
Mario Kart.
Before you said
Opposite.
Smash, I was almost going to say Wonder, but I think Wonder was at like, it was close.
Wonder would be insane to just go
I think
somehow
Wonder
like
was in like close to
it was at the 15 or 11 million range, something like that. 11 to 15 or something like that.
yeah.
Which is still insane.
I don't know why they didn't update that one either.
And what was
They
the budget
updated-
for that game? $888,000.
Let me see. More under sales. Last time they said was 11.96 million, which means it didn't cross 17, and I didn't think it was going to do that.
Yeah, that was kind of a slow quarter for them because the Switch only did like 2 million in this last quarter, which was down.
Something. Yeah,
it was down from almost.
I'm worried now. we got to get that PlayStation 2.
I think it's still good. The reason why I say that,
I think it's still.
I think about it,
but
yeah, I think it's
I
still
think-
good. It's just not going to get there as fast as I wanted it to. That's
For
the
sure.
problem.
but yeah, you start to think, ooh, and then especially, what if it hits like 159, right? You know,
Right, it's
people are
going
gonna
to.
be like,
Right.
people are gonna be like, oh well, the PS2 did 160 because of Jim Ryan said, you know.
Well, the
Oh no, I
last-
thought you meant the cost of the system, because that's what's gonna happen to the Switch too. It's gonna get price drops that the PlayStation had already gotten at this point. The Switch hadn't gotten
know if
a
they're
real
going
price
to.
drop yet.
I think because of inflation, that's
I think-
technically the price drop is keeping the price the
I
same.
I think the Switch 2 will be out, and then you'll get price drops for the Switch. I think that's what's gonna happen. It has to happen. It's gotta happen. So
I
That's
think,
when-
honestly, like to get into the
Really less
discussion,
than 11 million away from the DS.
I think it has to have a price drop in order to cross the PS2,
it has to.
unless they're gonna delay the Switch 2 until early 2026.
and PS2 got down to $100, so it's gotta get a price drop.
I mean, it's
And
gotta get a price drop at some time, right? I mean, like literally,
And
I feel like it
I-
has to.
Oh, with the bullshit ass. That guy is such a.
I think what's the previous
What's his
number?
name? He
156.
just let. Yeah, that's where it needs to be. He walked out the door. Oh, we found some more sales in a cabinet somewhere. Get that shit out of here. Where did that come from? After fucking 15
Not even
years,
Sony
all of a
themselves, the
sudden they had.
company. Also,
Huh?
he says it.
Yeah, Jim Ryan just out of nowhere, 5 more million units. Get that shit out. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
It's
Like
bullshit, bro.
Sony themselves said 155.
Right.
So that's it.
And it's been 155 for 10, 15 years. Like,
Yeah.
all of a sudden,
According to this,
160.
article,
Well,
the
you get that
last
shit from.
official number was in 2012 at 155. It's not like it
Right.
continued to sell 5 more million, but they
They weren't even
continued
selling them
producing
after that.
PS2 consoles until 2013. They didn't
Okay,
sell
so they
5
sold
million.
They sold
by the
5
way-
million.
They didn't sell 5 million between 2012 and 2013.
Oh,
Which, by the way,
it's a lot.
they also updated 2 other consoles' software numbers.
Yeah, but I still wanted to beat 160. So I'll be 161. Chill out and be done.
No, I agree. Yeah, 161. Then it's like, all right,
Then
Jim
you
Ryan,
can't
you
make
can't-
up. Oh, we
you
found
can't-
2 more million.
Okay.
Now we know you cooking the books and shit. Get that shit out of here.
No,
bro.
he's gonna say, well, rounding down. It was really 163.
Honestly, I don't think the Switch will get to 160 unless it just continues to sell after the Switch 2, or with a decent price drop.
Well, that's what happened with the PlayStation 2. It continued to sell after the PS3 came out.
The hardware, they gotta eventually sell it. They're gonna try to sell through it, and someone's gonna buy the damn thing.
I guess they're at 2 million the last quarter. I don't know what the previous quarter was. Even though the
And how many millions are out there right now, like without producing more?
Yeah, I'm curious.
That's what I'd like to know.
That 2-something million is still like what it was doing like when it first came out. So you're down from like some of the peaks of like Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, that's why it shot so much higher. But like it's doing better than the Xbox right now.
Yeah.
And so it's like, come on now. Like I think there's a very good chance.
We haven't hit the holidays yet, and you don't think those gold Switch lights are gonna sell? That's just gonna sell.
The new Mario Luigi with the new Mario Party that still is gonna sell another 10 million.
It's gonna sell. It's gonna sell.
I'm thinking by March next year, if they hit their 13 million total, which they're already, which would be 11 million more, that would put it at 54 by March of next year, if they hit their goal. So that's
which would be right where the DS is at.
Yeah, then I'm thinking if you really, if that.
And then wait, do you think it's gonna sell 0? It's gonna accumulate a little bit.
I said if they don't, if they release the Switch 2, if they were thinking of releasing the Switch 2 in March, then I think it'd be tough. But
J Biggs is.
Like, I mean, I can't see it selling in like 0 copies. Like it's gonna eventually sell another million.
If they do
or
what
2
they did with the 3DS when the Switch came out, they just kept the 3DS at the price until they.
What post are you asking me about, J Biggs? Did I see?
Also, by the way, I didn't.
That was a while back.
Also updated the GameCube software numbers and the 3DS software numbers. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, I talk about so random.
What the hell? What?
Yeah, they updated for some reason. I don't. This is like some Sony pulling out.
Are they counting the GameCube games they sold on Switch?
No, they said apparently they, for some reason, I don't know why, but they updated the GameCube software numbers, which was 10K more. It was only 10,000 units more. I don't know why they felt they need to do that, and then apparently, the 3DS shipped 640,000 games since the eShop closure in March 2023 for purchases.
Really? That's pretty good.
60,000 units.
Hey, I got a bunch of 3DS games that are in my to get list.
Talk about so random, but
before they get stupid price because they're already climbing.
But they updated the GameCube. That's literally like the Sony.
GameCube, yeah, that's random as hell. That's like Sony saying, "Oh yeah, we sold 5 more million PS2s." Get that shit out of here.
So,
but at least they didn't say something like that. Oh, we actually sold another 5 million GameCube. Yeah. That would have been cool. I would have been happy to hear that. And I probably would have believed it because why would they even update something like that?
Why would they update 10,000? Where's these 10,000 coming from?
10,000.
10,000. Like,
they hidden in some mom and pop stores somewhere. Like
yeah, like they literally forgot. They literally just somehow were like, oh shit, I forgot we did those 10,000 in the past 12 years.
So if
that does happen though, where they just miss because being a collector, I noticed like certain games will be fucking, especially with the Switch, it's been crazy as far as like high prices or on games that you think are kind of rare, like Snake Pass. Snake Pass on Switch is like $200. and it's probably not ever going to go down. But sometimes they'll find a bunch of fucking games somewhere. That happened with it was a PS4 game, Disaster Report. I think I did Disaster Report 4. Like that game had shot up to like $150, and I was just like, I ain't paying that. And I waited, and then they found a bunch more, and it got down to 40. And I was
Wow.
like, yeah, see? And I'm thinking about all those people that bought it at $100 something and shit.
I forgot that
Well,
happened.
just like right now with the Deadpool movie, man. Did you see what the Deadpool game prices are now?
Yeah, the game shot up to $150. The PS4 one specifically. I think the Xbox one is like
The
100.
360 one is still like 70 that shut up, and then
Yeah,
the
that's pretty-
Xbox One to 100 like to 100 flat. It's like,
Yeah,
what?
that's weird.
What the fuck? And if you get a brand new copy, it's like $300. It's like,
It's like, what?
I wish Ryan Reynolds
like, come
would do the voice for like a really cool Deadpool game. Like,
I'm surprised they haven't done that. It ain't like they're making enough fucking money to produce
Well,
a game.
it's strange because, you know, it got delisted. That's why it shot up so much. Also,
Yeah,
you know,
it got delisted.
They lost the license, which, you know, always, you know, that always scares you when it's like, damn, man, at least you got a
Everybody
physical
goes-
copy.
When people hear delisted, everybody jumps and goes and buys copies.
There's a few times where I did that where I ended up getting like DuckTales remastered on Wii U because I remember they were like,
Yeah,
we're taking it
I
down.
already had it, but yeah, I remember people swarming for that. And that game's worth toilet paper.
Yeah, it didn't go up in price, but I got it just.
It worth shit. Yeah,
I love
was the
that
same
game
with-
back in the day on the
I think
NES.
Lego City Undercover.
that
I
was
ended up
great.
having.
One of my favorite NES games.
I think Lego City Undercover also got delisted at some point.
Mm.
Is that sound familiar? On Wii U. Does this
Yes, I
sound
think
familiar?
that's true. Yes, I think that's right.
Yeah. Which
But the game again, it's toilet paper because that game's on everything at this point.
But the one that for some reason again,
But
obviously there's the
the
weird one.
definitive version is on Wii U though. That's the definitive version.
Yeah, but then you
Yeah,
get those
AB
weird
James
ones
brought a
like
good
Devil's
point.
Third, where you're just like, geez.
Yeah,
Breath
Devil's
of
Third.
Wild,
They're never gonna make that on anything probably ever again. So that copy, if you got one, I wish I bought two when I was thinking about it. But if you got that game's just gonna keep going up.
Yeah, well, I ended up just buying it digitally before the store closed. I was like, fuck it, let me not buy it.
that
Some
reminds me, I
crazy
have Snake Pass digitally on Switch. But anyway, AB James said Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8, essentially Wii U games combined 95 million copies on Switch. Two Wii U games.
That's painful,
That's
bro.
crazy. It's crazy. I mean, then what other Wii U? I mean,
Well,
technically,
New Super Mario Brothers U.
yeah.
Wait, no, Mario
17
Kart and what? Or excuse me, Mario Kart and what?
Breath of the Wild, you know, basically.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, Odyssey was done when the Switch launched, so they even
It was
said
going to be a Wii U game,
that,
but
yeah, they could save it for the Wii U or
Yeah.
save it for or release it, try to help the Wii U or save the next 3D Mario to.
they made the right decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's crazy, but
Well, they also started getting more into the whole Switch because you know they have with the you can shake for the Joy-Con stuff. You know they started getting adjusted more to.
Yeah, they added Switch things to it. So.
I wonder if you
But I'm
just
sure some of that stuff was going to work on.
tally
would've
up
worked on
all
the Wii U.
tally up all the Wii U games on sales on Switch. I wonder how high it gets because like you said, New
It's
Super Mario
probably.
Bros. U's at
I think
17.
it'd be more than how many software sales are on Wii U combined.
I was going to say it's probably more. That's so sad. That is so sad.
I think it's 100-something million for the. Let's see. I'm pretty sure
Tropical
Wii.
No, it's got to be
U-
more than that. Wii U's got to do more. It's got to be more than that.
I don't think so, man.
What's
Maybe
another
not.
Wii
Maybe
U game
it
that
only
did
sold.
pretty
It
well?
didn't even sell 14 million units. So maybe not.
Let's see.
What's that?
What was it?
Oh,
What's another high
Donkey
selling?
Kong. Is it? It's not really high selling.
No,
though.
I think
By March 31st, 2024, over 103 million total copies of games have been sold for
That's
Wii U.
trash. That is trash. I mean,
Yeah,
Switch,
so that means-
Switch right
that
now
means-
is at
that
1.5 billion.
Breath of the Wild
Oh,
and
3D
Mario Kart.
World. 3D World with
Oh,
Bowser
3D World,
Fury
duh.
is like a 10, 11 million seller.
Yeah.
So literally, all you need literally is just New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, Breath of the Wild, and Mario Kart 8, and you outsell
And you're done. You're done.
single piece of software
You
to ever
outsold
release.
everything
Yeah.
on the Wii U.
Then
That's
you
nuts.
add 3D World, which is a little unfair because it has a new
But goddamn it, I still love my
Tropical
Wii U. I don't
Freeze,
know.
Hyrule
Captain
Warriors, Captain Toad, Bayonetta 2. You added all those probably total. Pikmin 3.
It's probably
Pokken
double Wii U.
Tournament.
It's probably double Wii U.
Yeah, even Pokken Tournament. I
If you
wouldn't
had,
say.
if we added all those
I was gonna
games,
say Shin Megami Tensei. Not Shin
Oh,
Megami
the
Tensei.
Tokyo Mirage
Pokemon
Sessions.
Mirage
that
Sessions.
didn't sell
Yeah,
shit on Switch though.
I
But
know.
yeah,
But still, that probably still sold better.
Hey man,
Oh man,
I think it'd be close to double what every single game on Wii U
hmm
sold. That's insane. That
that's
just shows like I just don't know how they're gonna top this console, man. Like in terms of just what
that.
they've
That just
done.
says, like, how could the Wii U have sold that bad? It
It's
still boggles my mind. Yes, they botched the rollout. It was a little confusing. Blah 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 blah. Didn't have a ton of games.
yeah,
It,
but come on,
but
how do
still,
you
even
how
the
do you say
even the
we're great and not wanna
N64,
buy it?
the N64 like just missed out on complete genres of games, and that
hmm
bitch still sold 33 million consoles. Like with all the competition, like people forget. Oh, it was just Sony, and no, there was like fucking Panasonic 3DO out there. There was a fucking there's Atari Jaguar. There was all kinds of shit in the mid 90s that it was competing with, and it still sold 33 million units.
I wonder if
And it's
Skyward
just like,
Sword would have been a launch title for
damn.
Wii U if that would have helped it.
I always said that.
Woolly
I think it
World
would help.
is the one Wii U game I wouldn't mind if they ported to Switch. Not that I can't just
It's the
play it.
one Wii U game. I'm surprised that it hadn't come to that bitch yet. Like what?
Maybe
Like
2025 will
they don't
get
want
it.
to embarrass Crafted
Crazy.
World. That's why they don't want to embarrass Crafted World too much.
But getting
Well,
back
it's
to
funny
the
because I remember they were talking about. Saw some tweets on Twitter a while ago. That's talking about like their biggest failures, or whatever, and they included the GameCube. And a lot of people don't really. But I mean, it only sold 21 million units.
Yeah,
Like it is technically a failure. It
That's a
is
pretty
literally
big
that's why they
failure.
did the Wii because it was
it is
a
a
lot of
When
failure.
you compare it to the PS2.
Yeah,
you
well,
know
but
yeah
but the Xbox only sold like 3 million more
that's crazy.
units, and they talk about it like it was competing neck and neck
hmm
with
Yeah.
the PS2. And I'm like, wait a minute, that bitch was barely beating GameCube. Why does it get like more credit that generation?
That is weird. That is very strange.
Xbox Live, is that what it was? Like,
It's
I'm
funny, like
guessing it was
literally,
Xbox Live.
Microsoft only had like one strong console, which was the 360. I mean, other than that, like they've never had, they haven't been like that. I mean,
And that bitch
Phil
was
Spencer
a
said
failure when it
they
came
never
to like
lost a console.
working
Yeah,
properly.
they had lost billions trying to do the
Yeah, they lost so much money on
repairs.
the goddamn thing.
Mhm.
But
Um,
there was really no way around it. They wanted to beat Sony to the market, and so they couldn't spend as much time in R&D that they needed to, and that's why you had those failure rates. But they did. They got the market share. They, obviously they lost a lot of money,
Mhm.
but they cared more about the market share that they quickly squandered in 2010.
Dude, it's
Just
crazy.
totally
Blows
pissed
my
it
mind.
away, chasing Connect and shit. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck are you
I mean,
guys
and
doing?
especially because I mean, the Connect sold really well, but they really
Yeah,
they could have continued with that,
but
but I mean, their big mess up is the whole Xbox One reveal was just
it
really
was,
killed
yeah,
them.
and the Connect was a big part of that. It was a
they thought
stupid
they
thing
had
to
you.
do.
They thought they had the consumers. They thought they had them. Oh, this is going to be the one box they're going to need in their house. And
Crazy. They literally, but isn't that crazy that like
You think I
announcement
want to stick a
killed?
coaxial cable in the back of my fucking console?
you think you want to plug your
Bitch,
cable box in and have like a massive
I
delay?
know. What were they thinking?
That's
It's just nuts to me
corporate.
that very like that
That's
conference literally killed
arrogance.
the brand. The brand
Yeah, it
is
killed them.
nuts,
That's what happens
and
when
they're still
executives
recovering from this.
They're
Still
still trying to
recovering.
recover from
executives
that
are
shit.
sitting there and they need to come up with things to try to try to prove that they're worth the money they're making, and they come up with an idea, and then they tell everyone below them that it has to happen, get it done.
Yeah, it was Don Matrick. He totally fucked them over.
I'm
It was
sure a bunch
all
of
him.
people just like where I work where like, this is a bad idea, this is stupid, why are we doing this,
Yeah,
it's so stupid, and then they just have to do it because that's what you're told, otherwise you get fired or you quit. And I'm just
the
guaranteed that's what
motherfucker
happened.
took off and jumped off the cliff with a golden parachute. He's like, "Fuck this, I'm out," and he left right after he took a shit on everything.
It was so easy for Sony. There's two ways, and one is like so stupid in the grand scheme of things. It was the 8 gigs of DDR5 RAM that was like
Yeah,
the first blow because, and then Xbox found out they had to add because they were gonna do 6, I think, and they had the slower RAM. And then it was the price. Well, obviously the price, and then the sharing games thing. There was 3 things.
yeah. They all got arrogant. Everybody
But
got arrogant. Nintendo got arrogant.
Why would RAM speed
Will,
what it was?
do you think Nintendo will get arrogant this next console?
I hope not. I
Will
hope
they?
they learn. They don't seem the type to do that, but who knows? I don't know.
I think
I don't
they're
know.
already kind of
Kurokawa.
dragging the Switch out. I think that's a
Yeah,
dangerous.
th-
I think that's a risky
that's a
move.
stupid move. Yeah, I think
It's a
so too.
risky move, but I think it's still. I mean, again, like it's still out on the Xbox. Like they're still making money and
Yeah,
they're still
but
doing stuff.
that's
Really curious
short-term
to see.
thinking. That's like,
But
oh,
here's the thing. Here's the thing, and people will probably discount me when I say this, but it's different now. It's a different market. When the Switch came out, there was no portable fucking console out there that delivered console games and shit. Yes, these portable PCs aren't as good, but they're catching on more and more and more. I mean, the Steam Deck, it's just going to keep
Did
making
you
more
see the
iterations.
mod to make the Asus into a Steam Deck? You can load up.
Yes,
There's a lot of workaround, but
it's a lot of work, yeah. But it PC gamers, where a lot of PC gamers bought Switches for their portable console, their console away from home. That ain't gonna happen this time around, I don't think, because those guys are buying Legion Go's and Steam Decks and what's the other one, ROG Ally,
Mm-hmm.
and the newer one looks really good. Like a lot of people seem to like it a lot. So that market isn't gonna be as good, and so
then
Nintendo's gonna have to adjust
you gotta
to that.
Well, let's go before we get into what the next thing I want to talk about. Whether they do a price drop or don't do a price drop, I guess to determine when you think it could get to 160 the Switch or 161. I think if they don't do a price drop, we could be looking at holiday 2026 or halfway through 2026 or maybe the end of 2025 if they have a game for the holiday. Maybe.
Wait, for the next Switch?
For the Switch to get to 161 to outsell the PS2. Or at least that number that they threw out.
I mean, again, technically 156, but yeah, I guess if we have to beat it by Jim Ryan, you have to beat it by Jim Ryan's. I guess technically got
just run around with your 156, and then 5 years later come out and say, "Yeah, we're at 172." You know, nobody. Apparently, nobody's gonna check the books, so just make up a number and say we're on top, bitch.
I think by like March 2025, they'll probably be around 154, 155.
Mm-hmm. If everything goes well,
and then
even if it's like 152, right? Let's say it goes to 152, like it slows down like that. I still think they could get like an extra, 5 to 8 million just by discounting it and having a lot of like bundles and just selling out last inventories, and you could get it to that. You could get it to that like 159, 160, 163, 4, 5. Even.
Yeah, Switch is going to be a cool console that you can just take anywhere. Even if you don't play it on your TV anymore, there's going to be years of people still buying it, maybe even starting to mod it, but still buying it and just, this is my console on the go. Like that's still going to be a good thing for it. That's why it's, it has a better chance than what the PS2 had, even because a lot of people use their PS2s to play DVD players. I mean, let's just keep it a buck. A lot of people did that.
The PS3 price didn't definitely help the PS2 continue.
Right, and then the PS3 price was a stupid. That was Sony's arrogance. They were like, "Oh, we killed everybody in PS2."
If they just came out with a good system at $400, $300, and $400, and it wasn't trying to do this new chip, the whatever cell processor,
Emotion Engine.
I think
that. No, the Emotion Engine is PS2. Cell processor.
So I'll say this that in I'm trying to see what the 3DS sold. In like 2018. So like
can you find those numbers?
Well, I'm just seeing this one right here, like 2017. So holiday 2017. According to, I mean, that's actually really good. And according to Nintendo, the dual screen handheld sold 750,000 units in the U.S. in December, just December. That's really good. And we're talking about the 3DS. We're talking about the Switch worldwide. I think it's beating the PS2, man. I think
I'm not worried about it at all. I know it's going to beat PS2.
To me, like if even if you slow it down, sure, but like if the 3DS could do this number by itself in the US, take into account the entire world and how popular the Switch is, even a year afterwards, I think you would look at 750,000 a year afterwards. You know what I mean? And you'd be like, hey, we already passed it. Who cares? At that point.
I know Nintendo wants it. They'll never say it, but I know they want that spot. They want that spot.
Absolutely.
So,
I think that's a big reason why they keep like.
yeah, that's why they
Absolutely.
dragging their feet.
Because yeah, the PS2 came out in 2000. The PS3 came out in 2006. If it wasn't for that ridiculous high price, I think the PS2 would have slowed down more or quicker. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and
But no, people. I mean, people still were buying PS2s a lot in the late 2010s or late what do they call that decade? The late 2000s.
yeah,
Um, a lot of people still buying and playing PS2.
and it was like you said, down to like $100 and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah, it
like
was super cheap.
if
Right.
Nintendo does a price drop, I think it happens sooner. But if they stay the 300, 350 for the OLED, I think it's gonna be pushing it to get to that number. Because here's the thing I was gonna say. Do you okay? Well, let's get we can get 13 million more Switches in fiscal year ending in March 2025 if we keep the Switch. If we don't launch the successor, we can push another 13 million. I could just see the looking at the numbers. Hey, that we made 13 million Switches at whatever it costs to manufacture these things. You know, we already have this many already manufactured versus launching a new system that's probably more expensive to produce. And would we rather have 13 million Switches sold, or would we rather have 13, maybe 13 to 15 Switch 2s sold in that fiscal year? Like, what one does it matter to them? It's still they're still selling a high number of consoles, but at the same time, if you keep pushing that, then by the time the next system comes out, some of that momentum could be gone, and who knows? You never know what could be
Oh
out.
yeah, by the way,
They
Xbox is
just gotta
dropping a
push it
fucking
until it beats it, and that's it. Then we could go pull it.
Xbox
We
is
could go
dropping a
pull it.
handheld that will probably play fucking Steam and all kinds of shit on it. So that's just more competition.
Yeah, I think
Well, I'll
Um,
also say apparently for this is what I'm seeing right here is that in 2017, um, at least this was two different ones. I see that 3DS's sold in 2017 was 6.69 million. This other one says 7.27 million. So either one, you get that's again. If we compare it to that, I think I can't
which
see.
nobody cared about. You know, nobody cared about the 3DS when the Switch came out, and then yet
That's
it
what
still sold that.
hmm
the
well, they
Switch
still came
not
out with
doing
the
at
new
least that.
the 2DS model and stuff that was cheaper. They had
Well,
the
that's what the Switch Lite
That's what the
is.
light. That's what the
hmm
OLED is. The
Hmm.
OLED eventually be, and all this. Like in the end of the day, like
And they can drop the
if you
Lite to 150 and still be profitable. They can do
if
that
you
shit right
sold
now,
you
probably.
sold another if imagine from when let's say the Switch comes out, the Switch 2 comes out next year in March, and it's this repeat, right? It sells 6.69 million more Switches of just 2025.
hmm
You're still outselling the
You're still
PS2 by
outselling
by
PS2.
like
Yeah,
4 million.
yeah.
So like realistically, I just can't see a reality where it's not gonna pass it. You know,
It
it
would have
hits
to
its
completely
target.
fall off a cliff and
But
that's not
yeah,
gonna
that's what I'm
happen.
saying. It has to literally like no one buy it. No one's buying it at
Right.
all. We're closing up shop. Like Nintendo
Right.
themselves would have to just stop making it. You know what I mean? And so that's why like I after seeing this 3DS, I can't imagine. I can't imagine a reality where you're at 140. What was it? 140.
three.
I forget.
Three something.
143, and you can't. You said they're planning to sell until March 11 more million, right? Which would take you to 154. Let's say 154, and that's it. It's gonna fall off a cliff. It's not gonna sell another 2 million to just pass the PS2.
Dude,
2 million, you know. So
this
like
is
that's
crazy
like
to me because I remember when people thought I was crazy for saying it was going to beat the Wii. Bitch,
hmm
it's the Wii and a
Well,
half.
no, this
let's
point.
do a like
That's
worst
nuts.
case scenario. Let's say, um, with Zelda and what else is coming out the rest of this year? They already had the remakes, but I feel like
Switch
there's.
Lite OLED. No, oh boy.
Oh, there you go. There you go. There's
Well, let's
another
say
thing
worst
to
case
make it
scenario.
stuff.
Let's say that doesn't get. Let's just say they don't hit their fiscal goal and it ends at let's say 150 by
8.
March. Let's say at
What was
150 by
it?
March. 150
Okay.
March
Oh
2025.
man, that's brutal. So this whole year it only sold like 4 million copies, or was it?
Seven
No. Oh
more.
yes, I guess 7 million. Yes, it's already. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
They
say
made a Switch Lite OLED. Oh my god. Oh my
let's say
god.
they say they do 7 more from now until March 2025.
Uh-huh.
Then I think they'd be in trouble because like if it only did let's say 9 million whatever for this fiscal, then the next
Hmm.
year's gonna be less than that.
Do we have
Obviously,
any games for next year?
we got Metroid Prime 4.
We got Pokemon.
We got Pokemon. So it'll
Pokemon.
Man, all you
will.
gotta do is
Pokemon.
slap Metroid or Pokemon onto one of them units and
That's
make it
a
special.
lot of people are talking about. Oh, Pokemon are switching. No, Pokemon's on Nintendo Switch. It's not on the Switch, dude.
Mhm.
Right.
It is on Nintendo Switch. And where is it gonna sell a lot on? Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
game's gonna
That's it.
sell. I don't
well,
know that that's gonna
conversation,
generate.
conversation is over. No, those games always generate console sales. They
And
always
especially they're gonna make a themed Switch, which is gonna sell
Mhm.
right.
another
The
100,000.
conversation's over. You
Okay,
said
so
Pokemon,
but
it's
here's the
over.
question. Like I said, they're kind of playing a little bit of they're taking a risk reward situation. Like
Absolutely.
imagine that Pokemon and a Pokemon theme Switch 2.
Absolutely. You're totally right.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
totally
of
right.
course.
Like they're
But
riding.
Juice to have the number one
I
title
know.
of all
I
time.
feel like they really want that. And they've
Oh, they
never
want
said
it,
it. I just feel I've always felt like for years I've been
and
saying they want
they'll
that.
never say it. They'll never say it, but they want it.
Especially think about it, like, dude, the DS and PS2 are so close. People act like they're not close. You know what I'm saying? People like to just PS2, PS2, but the DS is 1 million away. You know, it's like, dude, it was right there. It was
Yeah,
literally right
yeah.
fucking there. And so
Now you can say, well,
now
that's a
Nintendo
console
finally
and
has
one's
a
a
chance.
handheld.
They finally have a chance to pass it, and no one's gonna come close to this for another couple decades.
Oh,
And it's gonna, it's gonna
and
be
by the
like,
way,
come
which do you think made more profit, the PS2 or the DS?
the DS.
DS
Oh, absolutely the
destroyed the
DS.
PS because the PS2 was burning money. It was like they were like $270 they were losing per console sold.
Mhm.
People forget that that's a $500 console that they sold for 300 because they wanted to get more units out there. So
That's crazy.
they
Robert,
lost so much money.
I was just rubbing her head and she was pressing up.
Oh, you going like that?
Thought of Robert when she did that.
Yeah, that was very adorable.
So, yeah, I mean that's the
But yeah, I'm
decision.
now convinced. I'm not even a little bit where
Yeah,
I'm now
I
convinced.
forgot about
Absolutely.
Pokemon. It's a wrap.
After
That's a wrap.
seeing, dude, after seeing the 3DS numbers, I can't
So
imagine
you saying
after a stronger quarter next quarter, especially another
Yeah.
holiday, and then you're gonna have Pokemon
Yeah.
in the beginning of next year, bro.
And the
You put out
3DS
some
was
more.
not as popular as the Switch.
when will it pass it then?
Yeah.
In
Well, when it'll pass sometime next year,
Sometime
I'll
next year.
say May 16th.
I'm gonna say it's gonna
At
take till after.
5:55 p.m.
I think it's gonna take till after holiday. We'll find out in January or whenever they release the numbers
the next
for
fiscal.
for
It
December.
would have to be. I think it would be like essentially. What would it be? It would be like, the next. So, whatever this is the second quarter. What is this? The second or third quarter results that we just got? That's the second
Second.
quarter results, right? So it'd be second quarter 2025, I guess. I think you'll officially pass it.
I'm saying.
So I think in 1 year that means it's gonna do it. Well, yeah. I mean that makes I can see it. In 1 year, essentially, you'll sell another. Um, Again, I'm not taking Jim Ryan's thing, so it's technically it's what, another 12 million or something.
I'm going by. I'm
Yeah, I
going
tell people, man,
160.
that PS2, like I already had a DVD player because my girl at the time bought me one. A DVD player in 1999 was when she bought it was $500. It was a Panasonic. Mine was $500 just for a DVD player. So here's the PS2 coming out a year later, DVD player plus a game console. Like, come on, that's a
Well, I
stupid,
mean,
insane deal, and that's why
I know
that sold so
people
well.
like to act like that's, oh, no, it's the games, but in the end of the day, like, I also had a PS2 because of that. My dad didn't buy a game console yet; he bought a DVD
And the
player.
game sales
Right.
weren't that high.
Yeah, go look at the game sales and tell me it was. Yeah, it was.
If
Those
you
were
look at my
like for if it was just a console that sold 100 and now 60 million, blah blah whatever, 155 million units. Those it should have Switch like numbers when it comes
Yeah.
to the games, and it does not. It does not. So I mean, these are just facts. People bought that bitch for a DVD player, which it was a really good DVD player too
I'm
at
gonna
the time.
say the Switch will hit 161 million. We'll find out in January 2026 that it passed it
2026.
in December of 2025.
Yeah, I think it's more realistic that it'll be like later than May, but I already put it out this thing for. I think it's actually third quarter. I would like to switch it, but I won't. I'll say the second.
But like I said, like if you were in charge, how important is hitting that number versus how important is getting your next system off with the same kind of momentum with like games.
I think it might be semi-important. The reason why is to cement that legacy and cement the foot in the stone that, hey, we are video games. You want to buy a video game console, we're the number one guy. I mean, it's not, that is some bragging rights that you could have. Like, hey, by the way, the best-selling console. So anytime you say it in the world, until you say,
honestly,
what's the best-selling console? Nintendo. Oh,
that
Nintendo
is the only. I mean, I'm a Nintendo fan, so I would like them be on top. But the main reason I want the fucking Switch to be on top because it is a fucking game console, and that is it. PS2 sold right. The PS2 sold like a shit ton because it was also a DVD player, and so I want a pure game console at the top of the game console list.
Future
Nobody's ever going to top it.
PlayStation,
Xbox
topping it
because hardware is not selling what it used to.
The way consoles are going, the way gaming is going, I don't know if there will be anything that will top the Switch when it eventually passes the PS2 for. Unless I think traditional consoles, the way eventually is going to be gone. So it's kind of like,
I've been telling people this for fucking 5 years at least, that young gamers coming up today do not give two shits about a game console. They do not. My kids don't care about a game console.
That's why we need this to sell really fast.
And they're my kids, okay? I fucking, you think I would have groomed them into wanting like game consoles, but they do not care. They will play on their fucking phone. They'll play on whatever else. They don't have loyalties, and the kids that I teach as well as school, they don't have loyalties to any game company like we used to coming up. They don't care. They just want to play the game. They want to play their little what's the fucking game where you got to find the killer? They want to play Roblox. Yes, they'll play that on anything. Among Us. That's all they care about. They don't care about Minecraft is on everything. It's on your toaster. They don't care. They don't have loyalties to these companies like we did coming up. I mean, they don't have brand loyalty like we did. So it's only going to get worse for these game consoles. You probably never see 100 million sold anymore, yet alone, 160. Nobody's going to pass that. Nobody. So
moving on.
Not even Nintendo, man. That's it. This is their final chance.
Yeah,
this is literally their final chance, man.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned about late generation Metroid Prime 4 sales, because unless the cross-gen thing's going to be real.
It has to be cross-gen. It has to.
Because every time Nintendo has a late game, like a big game, as late as this is going to be, it never...
it takes a dump.
Like, you can look at Majora's Mask, you can look at Perfect Dark, you could look at Skyward Sword.
Majora's Mask did pretty well. It did pretty well. But it didn't touch. Obviously, it didn't touch Ocarina of Time.
We had Skyward Sword, obviously. GameCube, it didn't really matter. That wasn't really
nothing sold in there.
It
wasn't Smash. Smash and what else? Mario Kart.
Yeah, still, I think that's one of the lower selling Mario Karts, if I'm not mistaken. But so it's just like.
It was the highest at the time.
Was it? All right, I could be.
Yeah, it sold more than 64.
So I'm just like, again, like, we'll have to wait and see. We don't know what they got up their sleeve. Maybe they already know. Like, hey, we got Mario Kart 9, we got a 3D Mario game, we got
bangers.
Like I don't know, like not Smash, but Splatoon 4 lined up like for the Switch too. They might not be worried whatsoever. So
it should be a Switch. It should be a 2017 situation when Switch 2 drops. Like, it should be bangers all year, because they had, Odyssey was fucking 8 years ago almost. Like, that's crazy to me. How? That's, obviously Mario Kart, we haven't had a new one in 10 years. So
yeah,
they should be ready. This is the time where Adam Sussler would be right. He's like, they should have this and this and this and that's all at launch.
Well, I'll say this also.
Year.
I'm looking up the Nintendo DS numbers, right? So from 2011 to 2012, see, 2011 March 31st to 2012 March 31st, it technically only sold 5 million, from 146 to 151.
From what year?
It lagged itself until 2016 to another 3 million to 154.
Yeah.
So my thing is like, again, I'm just trying to think about like the ideas, like the Switch is, even compared to DS, it's still so popular, right?
And that was, I mean, 3DS was, popping at that time. And I remember people being pissed off that the next Pokemon game was still going to be on DS. And I forget what it was
Black
called.
and White too.
Black and White 2. They were like, what? Why isn't it on the 3DS? People were upset about
that's
that.
that thing where you have to decide: do you want to pump up your new system, or do you want to try to get the most sales you can get by putting on the system with a huge install base? And it's like,
I also get there's Game Freak themselves being like, I'm not trying to make new hardware stuff.
Yeah, I wonder what Black and White.
They be dragging and dragging their feet.
Black and White 2 sold. Let's look.
It sold a lot. I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure it sold a decent amount at least.
It sold
sales
8.5 million, where Black and White sold 15. But it could have sold more than that on the 3DS, because X and Y sold 16 million. Like, it's one of those things. It's like,
but it wouldn't have sold any DS copies, and like the DS was still popping.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people still bought it. So you would have cut off all those people who had a DS.
It's the age-old argument of like the amiibos. It's like, do you put too much? Lock too much content behind them, or not enough? People are complaining. So it's like,
well, you know what? We'll find out with this next Legends game how much that would sell. You know what I mean? See how what that does.
What did
Legends? I forgot the name. Legends YZ. Is that what it is?
Like that. But what did the original? Did we have numbers?
Or is it AZYA or something? That's a weird ass name. That is not a very memorable name. That's kind of tough, Pokemon.
No, Donnie, Monolith Soft is making a new IP. We got the what was that, the concept art, like what, 3-4 years ago?
Yeah.
But yeah, they're hiring some people. They're working on something that could be out.
Yeah, they're making something
in the first year.
That it totally could. It could be the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 of the Switch 2. It could come out in like, late November or December or something.
So Arceus sold 14.8 million. So you got to figure ZA is probably gonna sell between 10.
You do half of that, right? If you did similar to Black and White 2, right? So that's actually very similar. So in the same comparison, if it sold 6-7 million, I'm sure they'd be super happy with that. And although considering Switch and just how good these things sell, it probably still somehow creeped up to 10 million.
That DS, man, that bitch hit right at the right moment. That DS did. It was just like perfect timing.
DS Lite was what really elevated.
DS Lite was really what pushed it, and it was like fucking. That DS Lite made like a whole new generation of girl gamers, because a lot of girls jumped into the DS.
My girlfriend bought a pink one. And Nintendogs, and
it had like fucking Beyonce marketing that shit, and like all they had Jessica Alba in commercials. I remember that shit. That shit was crazy big.
She did some Switch commercials, Jessica Alba and her dad.
Yeah, she did.
She saw it on Instagram or something like, or no, was it on the channel? I don't forget.
YouTube, I think.
I did see it, but I wasn't too sure.
God damn it, I was just gonna say something else when we're talking about X Pokemon.
ZA, what a awful name. I'm just saying, it's a horrible name. Pokemon
it don't matter.
ZA.
It don't matter. That's just
I literally said it YZ. I thought it was YZ.
A zillion copies.
I know. Come on, that's just a bad name. Man. Pokemon Legends ZA. I'm sure it means something, and someone's gonna say what it means. But like, ridiculous name. ZA. Za. that's a fucking weed.
I wonder if the Z and the A stand for like regions or something, or if it's just like let's, instead of A to Z, let's make it Z to A.
Yeah, it's funny. I was watching.
I guess it's Z to A. Yeah, I guess.
Oh my God, what's his name? It's always screaming and shit. Nintendo YouTuber. What is his name? The wrestler.
The Obi-Wan guy?
No. Why am I forgetting his name? Oh, Black Baron. He made a video around the time Power World came out, and like a lot of Pokemon fans were pissed off. I remember just watching his short where he was just like screaming, "What the fuck y'all mad about? Power World is showing something. At least they're doing something different with the graphics and the animations. Are you fucking kidding me? We still just hopping up off the ground." He He killed me with that video.
Well, at
You just
least-
hopping off the ground for animations when you fighting and shit.
Yeah.
Are we still doing that shit?
Not in Arceus, they didn't. You actually would attack they'd
Yeah,
actually move
Arceus
up.
was actually right. Yeah, but he was talking about Sword and Shield, I think, at the time. Or,
I just find it funny that people are really like, oh man, they're finally getting that development time. They're giving it. I'm like, isn't it like an extra like year max? They're
they're giving
giving
the whole console generation, and they bullshitting the entire time. There is no excuse. There's none excuse
I
for
want to play
what they've
Pokemon
gotten away
Legends.
with.
I might boot that up after the podcast.
Yeah, I think I want to play some more of that too.
I'm watching the battles right now because I'm trying to remember how it. Yeah, you just throw them and wherever they land, like the battle starts.
I mean, yeah, that's cool, but I don't.
Darren was torching Pokemon stands in that stream. He was.
That's so
what had
true.
me dying.
I made that joke at Red Knight. Somebody made that. It's just like we're still doing this, and then whoosh, attack, hit. It's like, can we actually get something?
Yeah, like, come on.
Truly,
And it
truly,
wasn't like they didn't have games.
necessarily mind, but it just it's kind of also like, come on.
We talked about Coliseum. We talked about what, oh my God, what is the game called on GameCube?
Gale of
XD.
Darkness?
Yeah, XD, Gale of Darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're like, the animations in those games are so much better. So it wasn't like, we didn't see that happening, that we saw that already on the GameCube. Like, why are we still doing this? Hopping up and down shit
See, that's how it
for,
should.
for an attack
Yeah,
animation.
This is
What
how
is
it should
this?
have been.
Right.
I like this game. Other than the visuals were a little rough in the areas.
A little rough, yeah.
Like
I had a great time.
It's definitely one of my favorite turn-based games I've ever played. And it's like you could have all your however many you have in a party, like 5 or something. You could just throw them all out and they'd just be hanging out, like with their animations and stuff. And it was just like you could just run around. I forgot about that. You just free run during the battle. Dude's getting roasted.
It is interesting that
Get your shit together, bro.
I guess they do count as 2 different games, the Scarlet and Violet. So maybe that's just. I'm curious to see like what would be the sales be if they just had Pokemon Scarlet. You know what I mean? Like just one thing, because it sold really well. But why is it because they have the word Legends and it doesn't sell as high as just those other games? You know what I'm saying? And I wonder how much of the effect is the 2 games. I'm sure it is a pretty big effect, and that's why they do it. But I'd be curious to see how many people copies.
Yeah, it's just like I'm trying to think of the other game where it's like the lesser title just sells like a couple million, and then like the main title sell huge. It's like why is that? Like
I don't like that. Yeah, like literally, I actually really don't get why, and I don't
Black
know what
grass and N64 trees.
Yeah, look at that.
Is this Coliseum or
It's a
XD?
Scarlet and Violet, dude.
I'm just bullshitting. I know
The
this.
trees look like okay, but like the ground, the grass, it's just. I mean, that track is just solid colors. Like
That's not flat.
let's see what these
come on,
things
man.
move. Let's see what these
Come
things
on.
do in a battle.
And we all know the Switch can do much better than this. So it's not a hardware. People were trying to, at the time, trying to blame the hardware. Like,
This is a pretty lifeless battle, though.
It comes out and then people would just be like, oh, well, it's like, come on. We already knew from day one with Breath of the Wild. Like, what are you
right.
talking about?
Some of these
That was a
Pokemon
weird-
designs too. Some of these Pokemon, you could just tell they ran out of ideas.
Well, yeah. I
Like
mean, how many
Dragapult.
things can you come up with? But they were always like silly, like that.
Yeah, I
but-
mean, I ain't gonna say too bad the designs. There's always so many.
Like I'm just.
I remember
like, this
South
battle
Park saying,
system
"Oh,
just already
Are
looks.
they animals? Are they
slow.
robots? What's going on? That was the Chim Pokemon episode. Remember, that shit
This
was
to
great.
me looks like a step back from Legends, like the battle. And they constantly can switch. Look how slow this is. Like, oh, it must be online because it says communicate.
Yeah, because it's communicating.
Yeah. This is a gym battle, right?
I guess.
This looks trash. No wonder Terrell doesn't like it that as much.
Man, that man played so much. He loves it. He loves it. He's not on, so we can actually say something.
He loves
He
it
loves
like
this
you
game.
loved
Favorite
Ghost of
Pokemon of all
Tsushima.
time. Yeah.
Like
This is his favorite game of all time. Is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and
he's still
also
on this
I heard,
Game Boy
you know,
fighting shit.
I heard that he loves Wild Earth African Safari. That it was one of his favorite
Yeah.
games he ever played.
I think if he played it, he'd like it.
It is a fun game. It is fun. It really is. If you can get past dated graphics, it's
Oh, the
and the animations.
were.
The animations are pretty
Yeah.
good.
That's what I've seen. Yeah,
That's what.
I haven't played it yet. Still, but
You haven't? I thought you played it.
Remember, I played it like 30 minutes when I was little, but I haven't played it like actually.
Is that what
played
got us start looking at it? Was you talking about it?
It was, yeah. Remember we were talking about new Pokemon Snap, and then randomly I was like, oh man, I remember this one thing that I played on GameFly, and then we started looking it up, and we're like, what is this?
Like-
and then we started looking up we started seeing
How did
the
I end up
animation.
with 2 copies and shit?
Yeah, the animation pretty
Terrell
cool,
has
and
a
all of a sudden
copy.
he's like, I'm buying this, and I'm like, if you buy this, I'll buy this, and then we ended up buying it.
I was like, because it reminded me of that Africa game on PS3. That was like a launch title. It didn't look as good, but it reminded me of that.
Mm-hmm. Man, we should have played Wii U while you guys were here. That would have been. That's what the system.
Yeah.
That's why we know each other. The Wii U.
Yep.
I should have plugged that in. I don't know why I was sitting right there. I got.
Next time.
Yeah. Because I actually have
Yeah.
enough controllers to play 3-player Smash, but
And it wouldn't drift.
So to make sure there's no weather issues anywhere in the country. Just next time around. Jeez. What a
So is
disaster.
Retro in the U.S. permanently now, or is he just another vacation?
No.
No, he's on vacation. He's
taking
on
a vacation.
holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Holiday.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
But,
doing his thing.
Yeah, so
He's enjoying life now.
Yeah.
He released a new video.
Did he?
Apparently, I gotta watch.
I
Yeah,
saw him and his girl. I didn't know it was on his channel. I thought it was her channel.
No, he has I believe. Well, I think it's on his Nethergoth channel. I have to watch it. The tattoo one. I think that's what it is.
It must be
I'll
must have got
check
pushed
it
down
out.
the feed because I don't see it. Other than that, yeah, there's some other stuff. We don't have that much time, I guess. Avowed got pushed to February 2025, which
The most ridiculous reason.
Which everybody knew that was going to happen.
I honestly thought Indiana was
You
going
heard,
to get pushed.
you see the reason why, right? Which is
Well,
ridiculous.
T's been kind of saying that. T said that like a year ago. Like, oh, they got too many with all the Game Pass games, not just the Microsoft ones. He's like,
yeah, there's a ton of fucking games on this. I mean, a lot of people who don't have Game Pass don't realize it, but Game Pass has been stupid this year, like crazy. So
Give them more reason
Microsoft
to
is and also Call of Duty is going to kill everything on the system anyway. It's dropping in Game Pass as
and
well.
that is their game now. That is their game
I
now.
thought
They're
Avowed
making
was
money.
supposed to be out
It's theirs.
before then, but yeah, maybe it could be a double benefit. Hey, let's try to get something, add something to 2025's lineup too.
I just think you just.
Oh,
I get
Yeah,
too.
it's kind of
And
weird what they how he
Stalker
said
2's coming. Like that's another big game. It's not. I don't think that's on Microsoft. Maybe it's a deal they have with them for a little while, but that's dropping into Game Pass. That's huge. So they're not. I mean,
they could have just said it was going to be a busy schedule.
Yeah.
The backlog thing. For that, I thought that was a little.
that was kind of a weird.
I guess
I've never
they're
heard
trying
that
to-
one before.
I guess they're trying to relate to people in a way.
Yeah.
Well, then they also in the initial announce showed like all their games, but a lot of those are 2025 and beyond that they showed like in the like
Yes,
the
that's
And they
weird.
confirmed some of those games for next year. So it's like now you're just pushing more games into a
We know
year that's
Nintendo
already
does
building up.
this.
And then now what they're gonna push you more because of the backlog, and so it's like, or
Yeah.
at some point, where do you stop? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Right,
but
right. It's
Nintendo, we
like
know
efficient.
Nintendo does this like behind the scenes.
Yeah,
we
behind
know they
the scenes.
strategically
It's here to just come up and be like, by the way, guys, we know
free up
you.
some backlog. Like basically, to me, it's like, hey, we got nothing in the first quarter. We're gonna release this game.
Yeah, we want to
And
show
by the way, they bought Activision Blizzard. By the way, a lot of that catalog is going to be dropping in the fucking Game Pass this year too. So it's just going to be too much. And they just said, all right, what game needs the most polished?
Call of Duty?
About
I thought
What was that?
about
for them to bring all the old Call of Duties to Game Pass. So
that's what I'm saying. You got, and then other Activision games that are going to be dropping, Blizzard games, and like it's going to be stupid. There's going to be too much. That's a great problem to have, I guess. But this is
Well,
what
yeah.
this is what's gonna happen.
They'll be on Game Pass, but you only be able to have 1 or 2 Call of Duties at a time on your hard drive, because with the new
Right,
ones,
this is so huge.
I mean, unless it's the older ones, unless it's
Yeah.
like the 360
you
ones.
go
Yeah.
Black
Yeah, the
Ops
360
2
ones.
and Black Ops 4, then you'll be at about 350 gigs.
You're done. You're done. It's over.
Black Ops 2 is like 12 gigs or something.
Yeah, it's night and day the difference. There's those gigs. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It's
got-
crazy. It's
And I tell you what, again, those servers, especially, you still could go really any time. So I'd be curious to see how much they'll even expand when they start adding Game Pass to it. It's gonna be awesome. I would love it if they just somehow went in and put added crossplay to those older games, because that'd be huge.
it's just
But-
crowded. Avowed is a new IP, and I just think they wanted to have it come out in its own window where there's nothing. It has to. You don't want it to compete with a bunch of fucking games that are already established. So I get it. I get why they did it.
Do you
Indiana
think
Jones is, it's a it's not going to be some crazy major game. It is an IP that's already known, so people are going to play it based on that alone. So it's safe. It's a safer bet than Avowed is. You throwing Avowed out there in the middle of all this. It's a new IP. People might have just not played it. So
I wonder
I think that's a good like start of a year type of game too. To be honest
yeah, I
with
think
you.
it's I'm gonna love to dive into that early in the
do
year.
you think that you're going to get more time to work on it, or you think they're like, well, this game was going to be done, let's just call it gold and start your next project? Or do you think they'll
No, I think they're really working.
I think they'll polish it. I think they'll continue to polish it. Even if they move on to something else, they can still polish
it'd
it.
be
As
interesting
they're
if
working on something new.
something happened with Machine Games and they're like, oh, we got to push indie to 2025. Would they be still hold with Avow being just because we want to free up your backlog?
I think
or would
that's
they
a
be
mistake. I think they better not push indie to 20.
I feel like they wouldn't move Avowed unless they knew indie was going to make it.
Right.
That's how.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking. Even if it's December, I think it'll come out.
yeah. I mean, but we're getting, it's August. We're getting there, so it's like,
know.
hey, what up?
Fucking Zelda comes out next month, September.
Weird.
And crazy. I mean, I kind of knew this year was going to be a little light.
Felt
for
like we
me,
had
but-
more time before that shit came out. But
Dude, I've only
just next
played
month.
Stellar Blades, the only 2024 game I played this year.
Are you serious?
Mm.
Oh man,
It's
what's gonna do with the top 5?
Have I played any 2024 games this year?
You'll have to join me in just saying
Shadows of the. I'll
play.
count the DLC expansion for Elden Ring, Astro
Oh
Bot.
man, you're pulling that
I'll have
games award.
3 for sure.
You're
Oh,
pulling a
man.
game award.
Oh, I got
Oh,
Final
man.
Fantasy Rebirth. I haven't started yet, but I have it. So I'll have 4.
Okay, well there you go. That is one.
But I
Wait,
just,
what's
like-
the other one?
Astro Bot.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm
I haven't
sure
played any 2024
Echoes
games.
of Wisdom. I'm planning on getting it. I mean,
Is
not-
Avatar this year? That's last year,
that
right?
was last year.
Yeah, it was last year.
They got Star Wars Outlaws, though. The same team somehow has a game a year apart. Another major or big open world game.
I guess they got multiple teams on that team, though.
Yeah, they got
I'm
multiple
sure.
teams.
The previews aren't
They literally have.
just putting all the controversy aside. Just people looking at the actual gameplay from the previews. It's not looking that great. I don't think.
Really?
Outlaws. Yeah. The footage
people I
IGN
heard
shows
talk
to
about
show.
it seem to like it.
The footage IGN shows the show is like the most boring. She goes into a Sarlacc pit, and you expect it to be cool, and it's just like this generic cave. It's just a cave. Like it's not like a creature.
It's not a Sarlacc pit.
So it goes
Sarlacc
in the
pit's
mouth, and then it goes down past the first mouth, and it's like a rocky open, and she goes down, and it's just like a cave system. And
That's not how a Sarlacc pit.
she finds the tooth. They're supposed to get the tooth off the second mouth, and there's just a tooth lying like on the ground next to a guy. I was like, man, this is gonna be cool going to Sarlacc pit, and it's just this lame ass cave. It was so stupid.
Yeah, it didn't look like Boba Fett climbed out of a lame ass cave. That was a
No.
creature. He
But
climbed
it was
out
died.
of.
It
It
had
was
died.
digesting him.
It had
Oh,
died, but
it's-
still,
But still,
you think the Sarlacc pit would have been the creature's mouth would have been a big
Right,
creature in
and
the sand, not
its
just a
gut-
cave. It looked bad, but just like the mission structure, it just looked very, I don't know, average, I guess, basic.
well, I don't have any expectations for the game anyway. So
Yeah, me neither.
the only reason I didn't care is because it says Star Wars on it. That's the only,
Me
that's the
too.
only reason I even have
And I think
any.
that
And
I think
she
you know that.
she
I
is
think
a
you know that.
smuggler. She is a smuggler, so it is
Right.
female Han Solo. So
And, yeah, you had me at speeder bikes, and that's cool. Because the last time I had a game where a speeder bike was in was fucking what, Shadows of the Empire? Like that
it's
was a long time
basically,
ago.
that your open world traversal is what the whatever that her. It's not the exact
And
speeder bike.
visually, it looks really good.
Yeah,
It's a
visually it looks
very good
nice.
looking game.
But
So
just the 10 minutes of gameplay, I was like, wow, that's what they chose to show, because that's not really looking that interesting. um, and what's his name? ACG. He's very unbiased. Like he just he buys all the games he reviews. He if they send him a review code, he still buys it. Like he's not, he has
it's
his
not a
own
shill.
opinions. I don't always agree with him, but he's pretty thorough and stuff. And yeah, he kind of said it was okay. But the game that came out that no one really talked about was that Flintlock, which was shown at a couple.
Yeah,
And
that really did.
yeah, it's not doing too well. But the one thing that his review pointed out
A
that
lot of people are playing that on Xbox. I guess it's on Game Pass.
I do
Yeah.
want to play that. I think the game looks pretty damn
A
good.
lot of
there-
like every time I look at my fucking friends list, everybody's playing that fucking game.
So the flaw he pointed out sounds familiar to about another game one of you guys were talking about. So like basically there's areas that without knowing that you cannot get to the next area unless you kill every enemy, and it doesn't tell you this. It just randomly happens when you try to leave the area, but it doesn't tell you how many enemies you have, where they're at, and you just have to go scour to find these enemies. He said one of them was at the end of like a really long platforming section on top of a mountain, and you try to go through this gate or whatever, and it tells you have to not, all the enemies haven't been defeated, and he had to go like all the way back down, defeat them, and then rescale all that. I'm like, that's such a bad.
That could be annoying. That could definitely be annoying. I can see that being very annoying.
And it doesn't tell you that. It's not like, hey, you have to defeat all these enemies until you have to. Like it just all of a sudden So that stood out to me, and I was like,
I don't know, it tickled me so much.
Like why
the
would
clip I seen of Outlaws, it ran like ass.
yeah.
It tickled me so hard.
Yeah, I don't know what people were playing the previews on, but I didn't notice anything like that. It just looks like the takedown, the stealth takedown is just very generic. Like she just backhands stormtroopers in their helmet, and they're just instantly they're out with your stealth kill, your one button stealth kill. Yeah, it's just some stuff, and it's just like, maybe there's some cool stuff, but it didn't look.
Bro, it just has to be a solid game. If it's Star Wars, it just has to be solid. I think because
mind blowing to me, but
because
outside of maybe like it better be.
Well, obviously,
I might play. It'll be $2. So
yeah, you're right. It'll be at least.
I'm just speaking like logistically and what fans will like. It just has to be. If it's just like almost like a Star Wars / Assassin's Creed type of game, that'll be enough for a lot of people, which is pretty generic, pretty standard.
Well, that's why, I picked up, especially these Ubisoft games. Like I picked up right now Riders Republic for $4 brand new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
right.
It's whatever to me.
I wonder what Avatar is right now.
It's Ubisoft today.
I actually think they're trying to keep some of these other ones pretty decently high. Like I
bet Avatar is probably 35-40 maybe still.
Let's see. Maybe if you get it on eBay, like
just look at like a regular like Amazon, somebody.
Oh, Amazon's always going to be higher.
So here's the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, I mean Amazon's always higher for everything. I mean,
let's see if this
factory sealed. I see a lot of for $35. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's pretty good though.
Where's the Snarlock?
So that's I don't like the additional second mouth from the prequels. I wish.
I just saw is that supposed to be like the?
Wait, this is just a cave.
So this is
literally
just
a cave.
Now here's another thing. You got the squeezing through the crack still. Like, come on, guy.
Oh man, I'm so sick of this trope. What is this, Tomb Raider?
That looks really bad too, like the cave wall. So then you're just in a fucking cave. Like
now you're in a cave. Like even that's the whole mouth. That's the Snarlack pit's mouth. That little drop.
Yeah, that was it. So now it's just a big open cave. Like what?
Have you seen Star Wars?
Yeah, that is
I
weird
could
that
see
it's
that
just
it
like a
lives
big.
in a maybe it lived in a cave, its body, and then its head was just out in the sand. But this nothing about this cave
That's not
suggests.
how a Snorlax pit works. Though. It's literally the animal with his mouth open,
So
and
let's
it's the opening. Like
and again
that's
like another thing a
no,
lot of games do lately is the automatic sliding shit. Like,
mm,
oh, you can't get back up here. We're gonna make this person slide so you can't get back
that
up,
animation.
which forces you to have to
Yeah,
find a new way
is.
around. But it's like, what? Why is there bones? What? It's just like a huge cave. Like,
Ran,
what do they think this is?
random
Because this looks
random
almost like the
bones.
inside of a something. But here you go with the
But
the
this is
force.
like random bones. I guess that's like, supposed to be an animal that it
I guess
swallowed or something.
I guess see that's
Could
what
be.
they're trying to, but like
It just to me when you
Like
go
this,
into
this,
Sarlacc
I
Pit, I
wouldn't
thought it
this
was gonna be.
sounds this
I
sounds really
wouldn't think
nitpicky, but
everything is a cave. Yeah, for sure.
I was
but
like, oh, you're going in a
just make a
Sarlacc Pit?
cave.
That could be cool. Have it
Yeah,
be like
just make
going.
a
He's
cave
literally
then.
breaking rocks in this cave. It's
Just a
literally
rocky
Well,
like,
ass
obviously
cave.
somebody's already been in here because there's lights and
Was that cable on the right side
yeah.
there? What is that?
So this is how you complete the mission. Like literally, she's about to complete the mission. It tell you. You'll see it.
Already?
You'll see it pop up. Find the tooth from the second mouth. So I was like, oh, this could be cool. You gotta like, you're gonna find the actual mouth in it. Nope, it's just on that guy's lap.
What
It's like,
second mouth? Where's the first mouth, bitch?
in the
yeah, what is?
prequels, how he added that stupid, second mouth, which I thought did not add to the Sarlacc pit. So there you go. That's your mission complete.
Hopefully that's just like a little tiny generic side mission.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. I think it did
No,
specify it was a side mission.
yeah, because
Oh, this is side mission.
stuff like that
Kind of makes
happens in
sense.
Starfield where you're just like going doing random tasks.
But visually,
And
like
it's
the
not like
lighting and stuff looks really good.
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
it's a
if
good
that was a
looking game.
side mission, I can't say I'm
Oh yeah, then
surprised.
she
So.
survives this explosion.
No, you're dead. You're dead. You're double super dead.
Oh, someone took the damn tooth. Come on,
It's-
man! It took me 5 minutes to get that.
I had to slide down some cave
Well,
walls.
that's the thing. Now the mission
I
expands
Yeah.
into a
I
I
chase.
forgot about this
So
part.
it's not just a small
Okay.
mission after all. It's actually, oh, now I gotta go get
Oh.
my tooth back. And
Oh,
they
never.
cut away from it. Which is fine. I don't want to see it anyway. I mean, I'm not gonna buy this game until it's $15 anyway. So what difference does it make?
It does look like a very basic cover shooting too. Like I don't know what they're exactly going for. Like I guess I haven't seen enough of the game to know what the main like.
Yeah,
Oh my
I
God.
was again like when it comes to this though, I was not
The
expecting
animation
some
looks
complex,
ass.
crazy thing like this. This is what you're gonna see for majority of games. Is this type of cover shooting, like, and I'm not surprised that they're using the Star Wars license that they're something like that. So that admittedly,
No,
I'm not too
it's
surprised.
And these guys
fine.
are the Division. They made the Division, so I guess.
So yeah, I
It
mean,
should,
this is
it
very
should be
division like.
solid shooting.
Very
Then.
division like in that case. So
Yeah.
you see this, they can slide and they go like this. They go up to like that.
Someone, I don't know if there's difficulty options, but I think one of the previews just said like it felt like they made it so newer gamers wouldn't have too much trouble on the whatever difficulty setting it was on for the preview.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I mean they're gonna have different difficulty settings. I'm not worried about that. If someone wants to play hard and
I mean, yeah, it's like you said for
Yeah,
20
play
bucks,
hard then.
$20, it might looks like it'd probably be worth it, but for the 110 tier, or the 100,
Yeah,
whatever,
I'm not
No,
running out there.
no game is worth
the
110 tier. You know what I
70.
mean?
No
Well,
game, yeah.
I mean, I know I say that and then I buy like these expensive ass classic games, but you get
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
That's different.
All right. Yeah, obviously, because they have actual worth beyond like just you playing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It does look visually good though. I mean, technically.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
it was that was always the thing that stuck out to me. How nice the graphics were.
But it's not
It was
like
a nice looking game.
I don't know if you were on the
I
fence.
think it'll be
I don't
fun
think
riding
that
around
game,
on the speeder, just going around.
Yeah, I want to
like,
be on the speeder. I like the Star Wars speeders.
I don't think
That'd be
showing that mission is gonna like turn people who are on the fence to say, "Oh yeah, I definitely want that now." Like,
for sure. Yeah, that was a
No,
very
yeah.
weird mission to show. That's a very weird
That-
mission to show.
you got to be a Star Wars fan to give two shits about that game. I think.
and I cut it off, but the people, it's
I think that game's gonna flop, and then they're gonna be
Oh,
like, "Damn, what happened?" I don't
Damn,
understand.
what happened?
Oh,
And
also,
I think it's just overall like the Star Wars brand as thing has kind of dwindled down in the past few years in terms of like in terms of
Ubisoft.
stuff.
Ubisoft is, I don't know, man. They're
And I
they're
think
out of
it's
sorts right now.
yeah.
did you hear
They need to
about?
figure out what they're gonna do
Did you
as a
hear about
company.
the not related to Assassin's Creed, but the controversy around Yasuke and the source of a lot of fictional, like I guess he's gonna be in a character in an animated series and something else.
I look.
It turned out
I have nothing in my
it
timeline
turned out
about
like
that.
I tuned out from that shit, bro. I
Yeah.
don't.
no, well, the Japanese government's getting involved because it's some white English guy has been writing writing stories as if he's telling like Western people it's factual, this is what happened, but when he gets interviewed by Japanese, he just says, "No, it's just
Oh,
what we
you know what?
think
I have seen
what
that
we
sounds a
think
little familiar.
happened," and it's weird because it's like I forget who was interviewing, but he was just like, "Yeah, this guy was like a legendary samurai when he's talking to the West." And then he was interviewed by a woman. I think she was also Japanese, but her English was really good. She started questioning him. So this is like a novel, right? This isn't like real. And he kind of started acting a little funny with his response, kind of like dodging the question. Well, it turns out, for whatever reason, he's trying to make this character something way more than it is, and a lot of people are basing their like Ubisoft's basing what they're doing off of his work. But the weird part is he created like an alter identity to update the Wikipedia, but it was like easy to trace it back to him. So he's like writing all this Wikipedia stuff as fact, and they found out it was the same
Why?
guy who wrote this novel. It's just weird. So like
It's like Frank Dukes.
You know what? It's a good. I think he's trying to sell some copies of his
yeah, it
book.
could be, but like the
You know,
Japanese
it's funny.
government, I guess they're like, yeah, you're like, you're kind of rewriting our history and stuff, and I don't know if what's going to be made of it, but it's just weird.
I don't think they can do anything in that case. It's like, hey,
What are you gonna do?
I'm making a novel.
But it's just
Yeah,
it's just like what yeah, really was it for this guy's for the novel, or it was just kind of a weird story.
Sounds like that's it. That's what it sounds like. Is that he's
yeah,
trying to sell like copies, and the fact that this is trending now, he's like, well, guess what, guys?
yeah.
You know, like a
It's like
novel.
Frank Dukes. To take you back to
Yeah.
Bloodsport. He just made up a bunch of shit, dude. And there's no he didn't do any. Like, if you look at the stats at the end of the movie, at the end of Bloodsport, when
Mm-hmm.
Van Damme does this,
Yeah.
and they start showing the stats, it is the most ridiculous bullshit.
Robert probably doesn't even
Like, he
know
had
about
like,
that.
yeah, they didn't even know about it.
Well, Robert, I
He
mean,
forced,
probably never even heard
oh,
this
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I was gonna say
Yeah,
the people in the movie didn't know, but he forced all that shit in there because he was like, "This is my story." If you read all it, like
Was the
fastest
Kumite
knockout.
even an event?
It,
Because
no, it wasn't. It wasn't like a documented event. First of all, so who's gonna validate these stats, bro? Like, he
yeah,
just made up a bunch of shit.
this guy apparently he was American.
Oh, allegedly, because he sues the shit out
He
of people.
wrote a
So
biography
allegedly,
about competing in this like underground tournament. Was it in China or
mhm,
Japan? And that
in
he
the
like
east, the far east somewhere. I can't remember
from
where.
and he was like he won and did and then they made a movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme called
Yeah, he was
Bloodsport.
talking about he was like a fucking agent, and he did all this secret agent stuff.
They
Like,
thought
he
it
was in
was
the
real, so they
military.
made the movie
Yeah,
thinking it was based off like this guy's real life, and then years later they found out dude was just making shit up.
total bunk. Total. The movie's great. I love the
The
movie.
movie's one of John Claude's
it, it
best movies.
it
I
made
love it.
him
I
the action
honestly,
star
when
that
you
we
said
know.
you Enter the Dragon, I'm like, for me, Bloodsport just
Well,
absolutely
but
crushes.
there would be no Bloodsport
No,
without Enter the
yeah,
Dragon.
you're right,
Like,
but
yeah,
Bloodsport to me was like so much like such a better like memory for me. But
yeah.
it's just crazy. Yeah, the dude just completely made up all the stuff about himself. Like he was,
Allegedly,
yeah,
allegedly.
allegedly. Yep.
He will literally sue anybody on YouTube. Like, you could have 500 subscribers and he'll come after you. So
damn.
allegedly,
Yeah.
he didn't do any of this stuff.
Allegedly, according to a video I watched, said that he made the stuff up. I don't know for a fact.
Right.
But, yeah, I didn't say he was made up by an Englishman. I said he's embellishing the history as if it's fact for Yasuke. It wasn't. He didn't make him up. Just
Again, it's
there's
to
like
me it sounds
almost
like this
nothing
man's
known.
trying to sell a novel.
Like a historian like says that he's mentioned, but there's not a lot. So everything
Yeah, he
basically
made it up.
is
But at the end of the day, I don't really give a shit. It's a
no,
video
but it's
game.
just kind of weird. Like, why is this? Uh,
I think it's weird because it's like you're playing as two characters anyway. Everyone's so obsessed. Oh my god, I
yeah,
love. But like
that's a whole separate issue. But yeah, this
you
is
have the
just
other
this.
character that's already Japanese stuff. It's like, bro, who cares? It's like there's no who cares. Even if they were both not Japanese, it's like who cares? It's like who cares? You know, it really don't matter, man.
That would be a
I
bridge too far, my friend. You gotta have at least one Japanese person in your samurai game.
Yeah, and it's just somebody like I told you a while back. Somebody was pointing out like they got a lot of like the details wrong of like how where people would be sitting and how people would be acting and stuff. And it's like, you'd hope they do a little bit of like actual research with these games, but yeah, they got.
Yeah, I mean, if
they're not coming out every year
they're,
anymore, I understand they're not going to be perfectly.
Culturally,
right.
you got to get that kind of
But
stuff
you should
right.
get some.
yeah,
You
like
make
if
sure
you're
you're
talking
not, like,
culturally, and if they really want to, and if they're actually talking it up as like, hey, we're trying to make this like a replica of that era type of thing, then yeah, you want to try to get like details like that. But
yeah,
but
you know,
anyway,
you're not gonna be able to get everything. But
no,
it is what it is.
But it would be like I watched a reaction to I, Tanya, never seen the movie, and I was like, man, if any of this is true,
Did I see it?
Tanya Harding kind of got
Harding thing, yeah,
kind of got screwed over. But it's like it's a movie. The person who made the movie could just be
I don't
biased
remember.
towards her.
2017, I might have.
Her bias.
no, she got screwed. Like I feel like she did a horrible thing.
Well, it
No
sounds
doubt
like,
about it.
according to the
But
movie, they made it like she only knew about they were going to call in some fake threat so that Nancy Kerrigan could compete, and then the dude took it upon himself to bash her knee in.
that's not what I heard from the doc.
That's what the movie implied.
Right.
And then she got a lifetime ban from skating, and
Yeah.
the guys who did it only got like 9 months in prison. Like,
right.
And she got a lifetime ban, which completely screwed over her entire life. But I don't know if she knew or she didn't know. If she knew, then yeah, she deserved it. If she,
I did feel really bad for her at the end of all that though, and then she spiraled.
Yeah, she's doing like fighting, boxing, and shit.
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, let's wrap this up. It's good discussion. I almost feel like with less people, we
go in, bro.
Yeah, we get way deeper. So,
Yeah.
But no, I clocked it. Was great having him on for a couple weeks. I look forward to Retro coming back. And...
Also great not having him on. No,
it's nice to have a break from.
I already miss you, bro.
We got to get Retro on here whenever. He said it might be a while, but gotta have.
Yeah, I don't know how long. Yes, I'm not too sure, but
in the meantime,
maybe soon.
I just want to relay a message. He said that Blade Runner 2049 is an epic masterpiece, and
that's right. Yeah, he did say that. He did say that.
That nobody saw.
Kill Bill 1 and 2 are like pure art, perfect films.
Yeah. He also said that he actually replayed. He apparently replayed Bang Kaitos and said, "I actually I don't really like this actually."
Yeah, after he got that PC version.
Yeah, he apparently doesn't like the second one specifically. The first one is okay at this point, but he actually likes Ukulele.
Origins.
Very weird version.
Biting Kaido's Origins.
Yeah, he said that Ukulele.
I didn't like that
RPG.
one as much.
He said that
Ukulele is a bell.
We're just making shit up, by the way. I couldn't believe. We'll end with this. For those that have seen the movie, I couldn't believe he said Blade Runner 2049 was like super predictable. Like he predicted
that. I mean, I honestly don't know what he means by that. Like,
what does that even mean for that movie?
I don't know what he means by that.
How could you?
What are you predicting?
The only thing I guess you could predict is like who was the child between.
I guess, but like
Harrison Ford and or Harrison Ford, whatever. Decker and Rachel.
Decker, yeah.
There's really only
predict the awesome action scenes and the cool hologram and them forming and the crazy bond that they two have.
Like this.
If you could predict all this stuff somehow, you just saw the movie. Like they're definitely gonna have sex as
that's the last movie I would think about when I think about it.
Predictable isn't even something. And even if you predicted that the main K was you know,
That's a small part of the
that's
movie.
not like
So-
ruining the
Yeah.
movie. And
Yeah.
like I pointed out, like, yeah, it's a
It's the
prequel, but
journey. It's a journey to that point and everything. Like, there's so much.
knowing where the story's gonna go is not, I don't think, is a criticism for
Yeah.
most movies, because like I said, Rise of the
Neither.
Planet of the Apes, you knew exactly what was gonna happen. And yeah, it's a prequel, but you knew as
Yeah.
soon as the dad had Alzheimer's, brought the monkey home, you knew where that was gonna go. Like, I know.
And what is it about? It's about the events,
Mhm.
and
You
the
can't
events
predict
are really great.
everything that's gonna happen. So Retro, if you're
Yeah.
watching this, I don't accept
Boom,
that.
bitch.
I don't accept that as a complaint for a movie, unless
But in the end of the day, like
if
I
you
don't
didn't like
care,
it, you
man.
didn't
What are you
like
gonna
it.
do?
But I just
What
some
are
of
you gonna do?
the reasons he
there's
gives.
nothing we're gonna say, because he's gonna say in the chat, he's gonna say, well, this, and I'm gonna be like, it is what it is, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Why do you guys do this to
You
yourself?
gotta watch it in the Juice Theater. That's a different experience than watching it on your TV speakers, for sure.
Hey, look,
Or on your fucking
whatever.
phone.
You gotta get that.
I honestly thought, though, I thought it was super predictable that Harry Potter be Voldemort. I mean,
Yeah,
who didn't see that coming? I mean, come on. But
that
whatever.
I was predictable that the ring got thrown back into Mount Doom and Sauron got destroyed. So predictable.
I knew exactly where those movies were going, man.
I would say it wasn't predictable that Ripley was going to survive an alien, though. Like, no one thought.
No, not the first one.
No.
Because usually the characters die.
But for sure, like, at least the captain, maybe her and the captain, but no. That's a surprise that actually benefited your first viewing for a lot of people, but it doesn't, knowing that on your second viewing doesn't change the movie, doesn't ruin the movie. So anyway, that's all we got, Retro. If you watch this, I'm sure you'll leave a comment about it. So we'll find out.
Oh boy!
If you
Don't
made it to
even
the end.
bother, Retro.
We'll find out if you made it to the
don't even
end.
don't even bother, Retro.
That's
It's
it.
whatever. It's okay. It's
So
fine.
anyway, thanks everybody for
Terminator
tuning
is
in.
trash. It's so predictable. You know where it's going.
Well, we'll see
Yeah, your
guys.
comment is predictable. I already know where it's going. Don't even worry.
Yep. Yeah, he's